All right. Give people some chance to get in. Yard.
So Kenny, do you subscribe to do this to have us on here like extra people on the StreamYards? I was just checking it out earlier. I guess there's like plans.
There are, but I'm doing. I don't. I'm not paying for it, but you can get extra features. But if you use free, you can have up to 6 people on, and you can have everything I have right now. It's pretty good. It's pretty easy. Hey, Laura, how's it going? Welcome.
It
Feel
works.
right?
It works.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it gets the job done.
Laura.
Oh, there we go. So what's going on in your neck of the woods, Laura? What's up, Vlad? AG, how's it going? No, you don't, but it'll be good review, and you probably will fail the constitutional test. You know, from the U.S., you get a pass. Anybody from the U.S. that gets more than like 3 or 4 wrong, I don't know, guys. I don't know about that.
Yeah, look, there's some people. There's a lot of people that know absolutely nothing, zero squat.
That's true. You're right. You're right.
Even though, like, I know we went over in school. At least I did. I had like history class, U.S. history. I don't know. I don't know if everybody else did, but
True.
I remember learning about it. I remember my teacher was so passionate, and he made it so cool. So I absorbed a little bit, you know.
Yeah. All right. So I want to, and everyone, this Joe Kaiser so far, and this is socially relevant. Why don't you go ahead and say hi?
Hi guys, I'm sorry that there's no camera today, but next time I will try to have that.
She is a new YouTuber. She has a channel. She has some really good content. She likes to cover all kinds of different things. You guys could go, if you guys would like to, go ahead and subscribe to her channel. I know I've subscribed, and I'm on her channel. So please, if you haven't already subscribed, and of course, subscribe to Joe Kaiser. He always has amazing content as well. Hey, Nathaniel, good to see you. I got your email, and I'm sorry we couldn't get the interview before the show, but I'll email you, and we'll try and set something up. So, okay, guys. So I want to start off since we already have a few people in here. And today is National Bill of Rights Day. So first of all, happy National Bill of Rights Day for everyone. This also happens to be National Human Rights Week started off. So that's interesting. And then I saw an article that Donald Trump decided to declare this National Day again, even though it already happened in 1983 when President Ronald Reagan did. Now, if you guys don't believe me, all you have to do is put in Reagan National Bill of Rights Day, and there's a speech. It shows him signing it into law, and Trump tried to do the same thing. What? To me, that makes me think: does Trump think that don't know history? Does he think his constituents are that stupid that they wouldn't notice something like that? What does the panel think?
I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know.
It's pretty ridiculous. It's like really, it's already been going for almost 30 years, and you all of a sudden say, well, people probably don't know this, so I'm good. I'm horrible, Trump. Forgive me. But irrelevant. What do you think?
I think, okay, so you're saying that it was already National Bill of Rights Day and that he came up now today and tried to declare it?
Yeah, he tried to sign it back in, sign something in the law that was already
in there.
Signed into law.
Yeah, I really, I mean, that's a great topic, and I think I do have thoughts on that. I think that, and I also would like to make a disclaimer. as far as political people and things, and like the two parties and all that. I really don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or ruffle any feathers, or because to me this is not like a political comment that I'm going to make. I'm just talking in general. So just with that said, I'm not trying to tread on your candidate for anybody out there who likes him, just so you know that. So I think, unfortunately, Donald and Melania, unfortunately, I think that there's a lot going on in their heads that are not related to actual reality. And it's really unfortunate. I wish we had a leader who was not like more talk and like more pompous, because I feel like they're a lot about looks and image, and it's very unfortunate. And there's a lot of people way beyond just me that are making, like noticing that when he speaks, he's not really saying things that are related to facts. And I think that this is just another one of those things.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's just it's it's really ridiculous. It's when I saw it, I was just it didn't surprise me that he would do something like that.
He wants.
But it surprises me that no one's fact checking this, and especially CNN. You think they'd be all over to saying, "Hey, Don, this has already been done by one of the last Republican presidents." So it seems like something that should have been in their wheelhouse that they caught, but it doesn't seem they have.
Definitely. I think that's a great point, and that's one of the things about this channel that's awesome. There's two things about Kenny that are, I mean, there's a lot, but these are the two things that are like the most for me. One of them is like he's gonna choose topics that he's not gonna completely side with the mainstream media, so he wants you guys to think for yourself. And number two, Kenny is one of those people that he's not coming from like a hateful angle. Like he really is more about just like he like enjoys people, and I love that.
Yes, I definitely do. I debate, and that's why I'm actually hoping we get people. I'm hoping we get people on that maybe don't agree with everything that everyone here on the panel was saying, because
Right.
it's really fun to get to healthy debate is a good way to put it. Healthy debate is always wonderful. Plus, I don't know everything. I never pretend to know everything. If I learn something, hey, that's even better.
Right on.
Kenny is special. Are you talking down on me? That could be against YouTube harassment policy, bro. Be careful. I'm just messing with you though. All right, so what do you guys think about? I mean, since we're on Trump, what do you guys think about him so far? What he's done and the whole impeachment deal? Since we're already on.
You want to take that first, Joe?
Two questions there. What do I think about what he's done so far? And
and his presidency,
I think if I have to look at the positive light of things with Trump, I'm a businessman, and I could see certain issues and problems that we had, not just as me as a businessman, but as a country, doing business, importing, exporting. There's definitely issues, and I could see Trump address these issues. It directly affected me positively and negatively. I mean, I don't know. He's aware. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just a big puppet show, to be honest with you. I feel like there's nobody I would want in office. So
Right.
I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't like anybody.
I mean, I'm not going, well, yeah, put whoever else in there, get him out. Like
Yeah,
no,
I totally.
It's what it is. I at this point, at one point in my life, I considered myself to be a Democrat, and then I switched parties. I considered myself to be a Republican, and now I really can't say that I'm either. I probably more Republican tendencies in the way I think, but I'm still not on board completely with everything.
Yeah, I consider I consider myself more of a moderate. I don't really see. I see merits to both parties, but I also see uh, the wrongness in both parties. When you go too left or you go far too right, I can
Yeah,
say somewhere in between. Because, and I'm really hoping that all this dog and pony show, I really pray that it will rise to a third party that is just for the people.
well, I think that's what everybody was hoping, right? It like wasn't Trump supposed to be like that different candidate? I mean, he is that different candidate,
He is,
but
but he's really he is, but I don't know. His policies are great. I think a lot of his policies are good. Some of them aren't so great, but he's definitely done a lot good. He's got rid of NAFTA, which was horrible. Um, he's getting China down. People might not like the way he's doing it, but hey, it's more than can be said for any other president. He got to sit down with North Korea. I mean, he's getting stuff done. I mean, even his detractors have to admit that.
yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. I think anybody that's in a position like that has so much money. I mean, look at the candidates for president. We kind of get what we really expect, whether we want to believe it or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's you're gonna have a lot of dirt that comes with it. It is what it is. You know. I
Yeah.
think I think over the years with the different presidents, they've done better jobs of controlling what was out in the media and what got uncovered. I think Trump worked to try to turn that around, but it's kind of turned against him in a way too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Sophie? What's your opinion on the questions?
I think that okay, so I'm going to add this other point that nobody has said yet. I think that actually the president level, I am what I think that there's a group above that actually control the agenda. Basically, I guess some people call it the elites. Some people might even call it the Illuminati. Some people might call it the Federal Reserve banking people, cartel. But I think that there's a whole powerful group that's more powerful than the president that is behind the scenes in America. That basically the two candidates that come to be, one the Democrat and one the Republican, basically those do not make it to that extent unless this party is okay with them making it that far. So with that said, it is this group that puts out that what they want done in this country is run by them and not by the president. That's what I think.
Yeah, totally agree. So okay, so but what are your personal opinions on Trump?
On Trump, from what I just said, like knowing and believing that there's a group above him with more power that controls him. Now they don't control 100% of what he does and wears, and not like to that extent, but as far as does he have complete freedom to do things in this country that he would like to do? And my answer to that is no. I don't think he has complete freedom to do that because of that other group. So with that said, within the parameters of what he is allowed to do, I think he has done some good things. But can I just add, because I really have to when we talk about this subject, is that the homeless population right now, that is not okay by me. I'm so sad about that, and I'm a person who stands for the people because unlike Trump, I'm not controlled by that group. So I'll say whatever, and I might get murdered for it one day, but as long as I'm alive, and that's what I'm going to speak about. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The whole situation with the homeless is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
We should be making sure that people have the basic human, and that actually is a good segue into another point. Is if all you people remember, FDR, he had an economic bill of rights. He proposed a second bill of rights that would give us um, all kinds of just some extra things. It was really, I think it was even referred to as the New Deal or New Plan or something like that back in the day. And it was really ahead of its time. It was really a socialistic kind of plan for the United States. And do you guys remember that at all?
Yeah, I looked it up on my phone. That's how I remember.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Let me bring it up here and bring up the valid points of it. Let's see. So I looked at the video. I watched the video last night, and I was like, "Wow, that is freaking wow." Because I was trying to look up some presidential quotes about the Bill of Rights, and this came up. I'm like, "Oh, okay, interesting." All right, so here we go. So, second Bill of Rights, it said its remedy was to declare rights to guarantee these specific rights: employment, the right to work, food, clothing, and leisure with enough income to support them. The farmer's rights to a fair income, freedom from unfair competition and monopolies, which, let's be honest, we definitely have problems with monopolies in this day and age. Look at Disney.
Right.
Housing, medical care, social security, and education. This sounds exactly like the Democratic Party of today, does it not?
Yes.
Mhm.
Just like the Democratic Party of today. And FDR was trying to get this done back in the 40s. And it's interesting to see how everything has come just full circle. It went from FDR was trying to push it out, and everyone's like, no, 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 not yet, not yet. And now all of a sudden, everyone wants it. Um, I think that's really interesting, and to know that it just really brings to mind that everything does come around full circle. History repeats itself all the time.
Yes, it does.
So, what do you guys think about the second, just the connection to the Democratic Party of today?
Say that again.
Your comments. FDR in the second Bill of Rights, his proposals, and the Democratic Party of today.
Good. You want to take that?
Sure. Okay, so far what Kenny's put together with it being related to what we see from the Democratic Party today, I agree with that. And another thing that I would like to link to that is also the UN, which is the United Nations, and as you know, they want to have a hand in America and like what we do here, but coming from the top, like as far as like, you know the UN has a presence as far as American laws and everything right now, but I think a lot of us who are woke and who make it our business to be aware of the things that are going on politically, like a lot of us are aware that the UN is, number one, it's very powerful. Number two, this nation began as a Christian nation. The majority of the founding fathers were Christian. And here's the thing: the propaganda coming from the mainstream media right now wants you guys to hear that, and they want you to feel very hateful, and they want you to think that you don't like that. But the thing is that that's really not how to hear that, because it's not about anybody liking it. That's a fact. That's a fact. And if you look for yourself as far as facts and as far as American history, the majority of the founding fathers are Christian. And the problem with the UN is that they don't like Christianity. The majority of the people that work there are not Christian. And like, so for me as a Christian, I'm a little bit afraid of their presence here because I don't think they like Christians. And of course, there's talk about FEMA camps and about, the microchip and things like that. And it's their presence here is threatening to the American people and to our way of life and also to freedom, you know.
Yeah, totally agree with you about that. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, it definitely sounds like that. His economic amendments there were very democratic sounding. I guess you got to remember too, in a time of war, the economy's good. The war creates a good economy, and when you're in full tilt, trying to roll out plans like that sound great, And even now, our economy's good. Our economy's definitely good, and it would be very appropriate to try to implement such socialistic type of plans, I guess you would say.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a big reason why people, are like, whoa, hold on, because then what happens when you're in the downswing of things, and even, I mean, look, suffering might mean one thing to one person and one thing to another. When we're in a downswing economy, even if you have money, you're suffering. There's something going on. There's suffering. Yeah, millionaires jump out windows and kill themselves. I mean, you've heard the stories and all. So,
yeah, definitely. I mean, you bring up a very good point. Like, it's easy to talk about socialist reform when the economy is going good, but what happens when we get that downswing again? What's going to happen to those economic, policies? They're going to have to be done to alleviate some of the pressure of the failing economy.
Yeah,
that's a very
Venezuela. I mean, like, we should remember those images,
That's a prime example, and that's just horrible situation.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't fathom it. We can't fathom it, but anything's possible. I mean, look, you got it. And it's an extreme. I think we need to find a balance. You have to be somewhere in between. You have to have compassion, and you have to help people when they need it. Of course, you have to have that. Right. There's no going around it. You have to be able to provide opportunity. You can't do that in a bad economy. So some way you have to be able to provide everything that's needed so people can do what they need to do. And that's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which is, and you just think, and then you just look at how all the presidents are. They're always aging. You ever notice, like, when they first come in, then 4 years later, they look like they've aged like 15 years. Like, Obama's a good example of that. He aged so much while he was in office.
Yeah.
Of dealing with all the crap of the president, plus all the backlash he got for doing, some of the stuff he did. What president I thought did really well that didn't age all the way was Bush Jr. He didn't seem to age much at all when he was in office. I don't think too much bothered him.
Yeah.
All right, so that was fun. All right, so now on to, this has been a lot in the news, sanctuary states. For the Second Amendment sanctuary counties, where people are, if something happens and Beto gets his wish and they take away all the guns, you will still have cities and counties that you can go to where your Second Amendment right cannot be taken away from you. So they are doing for illegal immigrants in the sanctuary cities.
Wow.
I personally think it's a good idea because, and it's only fair if you're doing it for illegal aliens. It's only fair to do it for a founding principle of our Constitution.
Right.
And, I just want to get your guys' opinion on that as well. What do you guys think? What about Joe? What do you think, Joe?
Well, our government is created so states are supposed to take care of stuff like that, right? And then so you're telling me that we're in so much disagreement within a state that they're actually going to break it down to a county. And who's to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's calling these shots here? Is that, everybody's in agreement with this? Everybody wants that? Is this how that works? Like, we're just going to say, we don't care, either one extreme or the other. Either, I don't care if you say we can have guns and, we're going to take them away or whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, I see like sheriffs get involved a lot, and I get it. They're elected officials. maybe, and it comes down to it, the sheriff has the call, right? So, maybe they should have the call. I don't know. I've thought about it. I really don't have a position on it, but I've definitely put some thought process into like, what the heck's going on here,
Yeah.
Each county, I think, from my understanding, because last article I read, each county votes on it, and they vote either if they're going to become a sanctuary city. Because I know the city I live in is actually a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants. As California pretty much is just a state for illegal immigrants anyway. I mean, California in general just doesn't have an issue with it. But definitely the city I'm in is definitely a sanctuary city. It's not a Second Amendment sanctuary city. I guess we're not close enough to the Bible Belt for that to affect us. It seems to be more like the southern states are doing a lot of it. I'm sure it's going to catch on uh, as this democratic wave of trying to take guns away just moves forward.
I mean, I'm in New Jersey, so like we really don't have gun rights here. We don't have anything like that as far as I know around here. No sanctuary counties for nothing. They all treat you the same.
Yeah.
Socially relevant. What about you? What do you think?
Well, when both of you were talking, it came to my mind that there have been a lot of great men from history who have made the comment that a nation divided cannot stand. And so that came to my mind when Joe started talking, because with the subject that Kenny brought up, that to me, that's divided. That's divided throughout the nation with the 2A sanctuary areas. So we can see, I looked it up on Google, and they actually show a map and everything. So like you can literally see that this is divided. And so those of us who those of us who are like 30 and beyond, I don't know if the younger people see it this way, but I know some of us that have, that are a little bit older, we can remember back to when we were younger, like 15 and in high school and stuff. And man, the country was not the way it is now. You have people fighting so much that you have to have 2A sanctuary area. So that shows me that it's the change, the quote unquote change, because the president before this one spoke a lot about that word. He loved that word. But the problem is that this quote unquote change is not for the better. It's not for the better. The America today versus 25 and 35 years ago it's in disarray. The people are really on one side or the other. I mean, there's a lot of people that when they go to rallies, they will start punching each other. Like, that's horrendous, so we need somebody to speak on the points about we need to come together, and like Kenny's doing here, and have a discussion. That is one step closer to being not divided, and that's wonderful. So anything you can do to be a part of this other side, which actually wants to work together, I think that's great. Because don't be a part of all that fighting and hating, because I don't think that's good for you as a person.
Yeah, I agree. So everybody that has just joined, we started a little early, Taze. So far we have Joe Kaiser here. He has a channel. Go ahead, subscribe if you have it. And our third party is Socially Relevant. She's a new YouTuber. She has a channel. You guys should go ahead and check it out. Subscribe to her. She has great content, and if you guys go back, you'll see she actually has a lot of interesting and just on point discussion for so far that we. And everyone, happy Bill of Rights Day. And so right now we're talking about sanctuary 2A counties and cities, because you've been seeing it. I mean, I think almost every week a new city or county is joining in on this. And Social Relevant was telling us about the map. And from what the map you saw, what area is it normally? Is it that's really? Is it just like country in general, or is it a specific area that is really jumping on board this 2A thing?
Yeah, this map that like one of, because there's a whole bunch of them, but like the number one that they show Yeah, I think the areas at 2A are lit up in green. So from what it looks like a lot of places in the West and the Midwest and only a little bit on the East Coast.
Okay. And like California totally isn't, right? Nowhere in California, I would assume.
No, it doesn't look that way.
I didn't think so at all. That does not surprise me one bit at all. But they will support illegal aliens, so I guess they're also helping with the dividing. But yeah, if you guys just brought up a good point about how these sanctuary cities and counties are definitely dividing our country.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, if I mean, let's look at history. The government said, "Hey, Texas, you're not going to secede from the union," and what happened? Did Texas secede from the union? No, Texas did not secede from the union. There was a war fought over it, and they like the war was for freeing slaves, which it wasn't. Don't let anyone fool you about that. It was not about the slaves. It was about stopping Texas from leaving the union. That's what that war was about.
Wow.
At least, I mean, from everything I've read about it, that's exactly what that war was about. And I read a lot of articles that are saying that this is going to be the cause if we have another civil war. It'll be because of the Second Amendment and the government trying to infringe upon it. And if that's the case, that's pretty sad because I mean, we already give away so much of our freedoms for safety already. Especially after 9, everyone got scared, and that's when all the government got together and said, okay, well, we can't allow something like this to happen again. And it's true, they can't. But that's their job to do it, and to do it within the parameters of the Constitution, not to change it to fit their needs. You know what I'm saying about that? Yeah. So far, no a balance so far, Jive. But yeah, just like what do you guys think we could do? Besides, what can the government really do to bridge this divide?
Well, the problem, Kenny, is that if anything, it looks like they're pushing for more divide, and they have been for quite some time. That's what it looks like.
I think yeah, it does seem that way, definitely. Joe, you want to chime in here?
Well, the governments, like I said before, they're supposed to let the states do their thing.
Yeah.
So typically what you had before were, you had states that were, all about guns, states that weren't all about guns, and you decide where you want to live. It's kind of like how it was back in the day, or, and things are changing, those, you don't have those states where they're just all about guns. They're trying to restrict their rules. I mean, like I said, I'm from Jersey here. It kind of means absolutely nothing. We can't, our gun, we don't have gun rights. We just really don't have them. Very, very limited. Very limited. So, I mean, should the government step in states' issues? And say, I guess they're supposed to do that when you have issues that are brought to court, right? The Supreme Court.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of things don't even go there. They just they make it to an appellate.
Yeah.
Stay within certain districts, and that affects different states sometimes. When they're split districts.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point, Joe, about what happened in New Jersey. And you're saying that the fact that they took away the guns in the first place is already against the Constitution. So at that point, the federal government could have stepped in. That's a wonderful point.
Yep, they could have. And it's been challenged here. Like there's still a fight. It's not like we're out of it, but so far it's a loss. It's just been a loss. There's been no relief, and the government could say, wait, hold on a second, how can you tell them they can't have that unless they're a cop? So what they did in New Jersey was they made a law. The law is not you can't have a pistol if you're not a cop, but that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's it's the law doesn't say that. The law says you have to apply, and I can apply for one, but the chief of police has to approve it, and the chief of police is never going to approve my permit for no reason. Never, ever, ever. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
doesn't that look a little bit like the mafia? Because that system looks like the mafia, because the mafia, the boss wouldn't want you to have a gun either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The mafia was pretty deep here in New Jersey, all throughout.
Yeah, but now it's the politicians and the police.
Yep.
Even worse, because they can take you to prison for the rest of your life and put phony charges on you. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. HDCW is on video making racial slurs. Really? That doesn't surprise me.
Who?
High Desert Community Watch apparently is making racial slurs. Doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I'll check that out later, I guess. I can't really check that out right now. All right, so if you guys are just joining us, we're here with Socially Relevant. Waiting on A Balance. Hopefully he'll show up. And anyone else that wants to join, go ahead and hit right here that I posted. You're more than welcome to join in the conversation. We've already touched on quite a few topics, and now we're going to get to some auditing type stuff. All right, so this is what pretty much brings in a lot of people. It's the auditor type stuff. So if you guys are aware that YouTube has just recently updated their harassment policy. And the other day, Furry became a video, and it got took down for the harassment policy. And if you go on Furry's channel, you'll see exactly what Furry thinks of the harassment policy. Posted a video, it's like 30 seconds, whatever, and basically not happy about it, which I don't blame him. But if you go in the comment section, it's interesting. Everyone is like confused that like, what happened? Does this have to do? Like, no, this doesn't have to do with COPPA. This is harassment. It's something totally different. And it seems like a lot of Furry's supporters are confused and don't understand why the video was taken down.
Yeah,
and also they seem to think the Furry didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well, I would disagree. Furry's videos are very controversial, I would say. With the going around, talking, going to mosque, and acting the way Furry acts at these locations while performing an audit could be viewed as harassment. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, it could be. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to watch her videos, and I really just don't pay attention anymore. So, like, I know that happened, and I heard like she's like leaving YouTube or whatever or something. I don't know what happened, but I could definitely see that some of the videos maybe that she's made were maybe borderline, but I don't know. I think I've seen videos where it looked like she was getting harassed too. I mean, not that two wrongs make a right, but maybe that kind of gets washed in there, and that's the supporters. I don't know.
So you're definitely right. I've seen some videos where Furry's been harassed too. So I mean, it definitely goes both ways.
Yeah. I think that it would be a good idea. Like, let's say, for example, if there's a person who already knows that they get more harassment than, let's say, than some other people, then I think it would be a good idea for them to go in a duo, like with at least two people, because that, I think that makes sense. Like, for example, if you're a person who gets harassed a lot, and especially if you're going into a dangerous situation, because all auditors are, because what they do, there's people that don't like it. So if you know that about yourself, go with a buddy, because then somebody's gonna have your back, and then maybe you won't feel like you need to stand there and yell at them, like at the other people,
Yeah,
Totally agree with you on that one.
She gets defensive, and then like maybe she needs somebody to have her back, and then she wouldn't have to be so defensive.
Well, even when she goes out with different auditors, it's pretty much the first way she does her audits. It's how she performs. It really seems to me like it is a performance for her when she does audits. I still feel that Furry is doing it for the views. I don't think there's any. I mean, she might do some good things in the community, but as for trying to get change, governmental change that is, lasting and gonna, for what the activism she's trying to do, no, she's not. She might be an activist for the homeless, which I hear she donates money, her time, and all that to that, and that is fantastic because that is something that totally needs to be taken care of. But as far as 1A rights, going to mosque,
right,
dressing in a hijab or she's doing, it's not going to affect change at all. And I try to tell people that when they say you're attacking furry and all this. No, I'm not. Like,
no, you're not. No, you're having a discussion.
Yeah, it's like I just wanted to let you know. I mean, look at the facts of this. I mean, not really doing a whole lot to cause except exploit the fears that people have. And yeah, I mean, maybe you could argue that she is bringing awareness to this fear that doesn't need to be there. Perhaps I would agree with that if after all went done, like she played like this happy music, sat down and kind of had like a like in the old sitcoms where they have sit down. Now you know what you did wrong, sort of thing, sort of situation. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can agree with how she's acting now because she's actually bringing it full circle around. But no, it's she gets the reaction they want and then they leave. Like, what does that teach anyone? Nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sad actually, because maybe like she's a little off track. Like maybe her intentions are good, but she's gotten a little off track with.
That's I think maybe that's a very good way to say it. I mean, I'm sure the intentions are very good. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about furry, but just the fact that she does do a lot for the community says a lot.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that, maybe with how popular she is, she could be a driving force in getting change done locally for her. I mean, she's super popular.
When you were talking about furry, I used to watch them from a long time ago, and I remember a lot of audits with her and James Freeman. And when you were saying that, I had watched a James Freeman video this morning, and I just had it in my heart to say, for those of you guys that believe in prayer, can you please pray for James Freeman? Because I watched a video today, and he did a video out of Louisiana, which is a place that I'm very familiar with. I used to live there for many years, and the cops in Louisiana are some of the most corrupt in the whole nation, and he almost got shot during that audit by a police officer. So can you please pray for James Freeman and for any of the other auditors you want to pray for, because they really need that when they go into those territories and they're doing it. And you know what? There's a lot of auditors that are good, and they really are doing it with you in mind. The ones that are good, so if you could please do that. And back to the furry thing, you're right, Kenny. I think that she does have good intentions, and let's pray for her too. I don't want her to get shot again.
Oh, no, I don't want any auditor, anyone to get shot. That's just it just makes everyone look bad. And, we don't need that. So you're talking about James Freeman. Okay, yeah. I don't really know James Freeman's work. I've seen some of his stuff. Seems a bit extreme to me on certain occasions, but at the same time, I don't want to see him get shot or anyone. So definitely.
Yeah, this cop was so off the rails that his whole family and his children were there, and the cop was still like bordering on the verge of that he might go that direction. That's how crazy that person is.
So Sergeant Shadow says James Freeman broke the law. What are you referring to, Sergeant Shadow?
Yeah, because in that video I'm referring to, that was from Louisiana, and in that video he accidentally parked his camper in a no camping zone, but he didn't know it was no camping. Like he didn't break the law intentionally, though.
I mean, still, even parking in a marked spot shouldn't warrant being shot, though.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
A bit extreme for parking in the
illegal camping zone.
Yeah, it's a little extreme for illegal camping. Maybe was he like being very James Freeman like, as in being operative and
the first
and all that good stuff?
the first guy that came up to him was actually a federal guy. He was a federal park ranger, and so James was had the camera, and the guy said, "Are you taping me?" And James was like, "Yeah." And that's what started the whole problem, because the guy was mad that he was filming. So, and that's not breaking the law, filming.
No.
So.
Oh, okay. No. And then someone said, Eric Brandt called 911. That actually really surprises me if he called 911. That guy, that really is like, that right there just, oh man, see, gets me. How you gonna talk crap about the cops and then call when you need them?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but do you know that's true? If that's true?
I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if someone needs help, they're gonna call 911. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that said call 911. Right?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that.
I'm pretty sure recently there was a video that he was, I don't know. There was a woman that had problems with the CPS police, Cold Springs or whatever it was in Colorado, and I don't know.
Absolutely covered for detail. Let's see. So, who are some other auditors that you think this harassment policy is going to affect? Me personally, I think it could affect Will Turbot, Auditing America, simply because Auditing America only when Will Turbot's with him, because Auditing America doesn't do as much talking when he's by himself or with Bucket Boy. But when him and Will get together, they seem to really beat off each other. And Will likes to, spout just anything that comes to him, even if it's not true. I think it might affect them. Eric Brandt, oh God, I think it's so going to affect him. I think he might need to move to BitChute or something.
I feel bad for Eric Brandt because, like, the latest stuff I've seen on him was that he got arrested like while he was leaving court and everything, and it looks like they're picking on him at that point. Like, that's what it looks like to me. So I feel sorry for him, because if the cops are picking on you, that's not a good position to be in. Like, so.
Okay, guys, we have somebody added coming on the stream. Sergeant Shadow's coming on. Hello, Sergeant Shadow. Welcome to the live stream. You're on live.
Hello.
So welcome. This is Joe Kaiser. We have Joe Kaiser, Socially Relevant, myself, and now Sergeant Shadow. So, what do you want to discuss?
Okay, I want to discuss the James Freeman thing. I am from Louisiana. I live in Louisiana, and Eric Brandt caused that whole situation with the cop by calling 911 and pretending to be James Freeman and talking about guns and about the corporal's going to get shot and he's laying on the ground. I mean, if you watch the video of James Freeman, that cop was defusing the situation, told him to stand back while he was looking at the code from the park ranger, because it is a federal park, at the Bonnie Carey Spillway. And when that cop went to his police car, that's when the dispatch was telling him about this 911 car. And if you notice, when he came back out, his whole demeanor changed, because he was told that Freeman was getting guns out of a gun cabinet, because that's what Eric Brandt was telling the 911 operator. So of course they put him in cuffs to detain him.
Okay, I have a question and also a comment. When I saw the video, I did not see how it related to Eric Brandt at all. So I didn't see that part, but I appreciate that you just told us that. So with that said, I don't even fucking remember. I'm sorry with the F word. I don't even remember the other thing I was going to say, but I didn't see the part how Eric was related. So I apologize if I've offended you, Sergeant Shadow, because you live there, but I've lived there for a long time, so I know a little bit about it.
No, I'm just saying I'm happy that James Freeman didn't get shot, because I do know how the cops are in my state, and they shoot first and ask questions later. And you got some nut calling them up and saying, "Oh, I got guns in my gun cabinet and I'm going to shoot the corporal." He's lucky.
I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, Eric did a video about it, thinking it was funny.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, Kenny?
Case Laugh Like Hell has joined the stream. What's up, man? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm having some sound issues. Can anybody hear me?
Hi, Tank.
Yeah, we sure can.
I'm going to go out and come back in. I just
Okay.
wanted to say about the James Freeman almost getting shot. Was he at gunpoint? Because if he wasn't at gunpoint, he was not almost shot.
No, there was no gun pulled. The cop did detain him after Eric Brandt did the 911 call, but the cop never pulled his gun out. No.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm gonna have to go and watch that video now because now it sounds interesting. I usually try and stay away from well, yeah, I try to stay away from videos because I watch his videos and they piss me off. So I just tend to stay away. I don't like him. I just don't like his videos. So I just stay away from them. Kind of like I was the same way with Furry Potato for a while, but then people wanted me to start doing Furry. I'm like, oh, okay. The same with Casey Cameron Boy. I wasn't really a fan of his. Everyone's like, you should do Casey. I'm like, oh God, I guess I should. So I
See,
did one.
James Freeman, another thing that's not being said is why is he even driving a vehicle when his license is expired? He's lucky that they didn't take his truck. He's lucky they didn't take his camper. He's lucky they didn't throw him in jail. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
they let him drive the camper off of the federal ground to the gas station down the street. So people saying these cops are tyrants, I think they were very nice to him because I know the cops here and I know what they could have done, and he got away lucky.
I have a question. Why did Eric Brandt call the police and say what you said that he said? Why did he do that?
Because James Freeman called for a flood call.
Yeah, but Eric came up with that commentary because James didn't tell him to say that.
Well, why does Eric come up with any of the commentary he does?
Right.
He does it because he's a fucking nut.
He definitely shouldn't have said that.
He is kind of nutty, isn't he?
I feel bad for James Freeman because it was Eric Brandt that escalated it because that police officer, if you notice, he never put James Freeman in the cuffs when he went back to his SUV. It's after he got told by his dispatcher about guns and a gun safe and all of that he came out and he was serious and he put him in handcuffs, but he never drew his gun on James Freeman.
Yeah, that's so whack. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. If you know, it seems like a lot of auditors are going around. It seems like they get their driver's license taken away for whatever reason, and the reasons are varied. But then they could feel like since they are, it seems to me they feel like since they are trying to hold the police accountable, that the police are just gonna turn a blind eye to them driving without a license. It seems like they think the camera is going to protect them. They're trying to weaponize the camera. Oh.
Well, I don't even consider James Freeman an auditor. I mean, if this is my opinion, and I'm probably going to get jumped about it, but he reminds me of a fucking soft Sid or an anarchist. He's not no auditor.
I remember some of the first videos I saw of him. I did essentially think he was a sovereign citizen, so I would with that. Okay, so all right, so Sergeant Shadow, since you're here, why don't you boys talk about some of the stuff we've already talked about with the new person? Are you aware of Second Amendment sanctuary counties and cities?
Say it again. You broke up there at the end.
Second Amendment sanctuary cities and counties. Are you aware of them?
Oh yeah.
What is your opinion on those?
I think anybody that's trying to save the Second Amendment and not let the government take it away it's great.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So you don't feel like they are trying to it like that plus the for sanctuary cities for illegal aliens? You don't think that's a tactic for our country?
Well, sanctuary cities for illegal aliens should not be allowed because you're letting people break a law.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a very good point. That is okay. That's true. Then, at the same token, then let's say the federal government decides to outlaw guns. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but then Second Amendment sanctuary cities would also be breaking the law as well.
Yeah, but it's not just the government can't just wake up one day and say, okay, guns are outlawed. It has to be approved and it'll never happen. The federal government will never
I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it would ever happen. But let's just say for shits and giggles.
Well, then that's when you'll see another uprising in the United States, I believe. I believe there's enough people that will uprise against the government if they try to take any of our constitutional rights.
Fully agree. Welcome back, Taze. I think maybe we have a better connection this time.
Hey, thanks, man. Uh, so
Hey, Tay.
fingers crossed. Hey, how are you?
Are you there, Taze?
Yeah, he's probably
Kenny,
waiting.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably a delay.
Kenny, give him a topic to talk about.
Okay, Taze, let's. What about you? What are your what's your opinion on Second Amendment sanctuary cities and counties?
Hey, Kenny, I don't know if you're talking to me or not. I'm just getting like every third. This is gonna work for me. I'm on my phone.
Oh yeah, it doesn't really work well with mobile devices. But yes, I was talking to you, asking you about Second Amendment sanctuary cities and counties and your opinion on them.
Okay, I caught something about cities and counties, but what's the issue?
Well, there cities and counties that are passing uh, ordinances and laws that are stating that if the federal government decides to take guns away, that if that happens, for certain cities or counties will not be affected. The government can't come in and take them. Sort of like how they have with illegal aliens and sanctuary cities for them. Same concept.
Yeah, I didn't really get two words in the English language, and that is guns away. That is never going to fly here. As far as sanctuary cities, I think that's unconstitutional to have a sanctuary city. The government is supposed to protect our borders, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave this, Kenny, because I'm just kind of in the way here because I can't hear you guys well. I don't know how well you're hearing me.
We hear you pretty well, man. Just like I said, from my understanding, mobile devices don't work real well. If you can get to a laptop, we're still on, man. You should come back on because I'd love to have you.
Okay, man. I'm about to go to Taco Bell. Who wants tacos?
I want a burrito supreme, man. Burrito supreme. What do you want, Joe?
Okay, man. I'm gonna take a run for the border.
See? There we go. All right, man. Thanks for joining, and that's great. All right,
Okay.
so let's move on. Okay.
All right.
First of all,
I don't know who socially relevant is, but I'll check out her channel.
Thank you.
Yes, check her out. She does some great stuff. She has great topics, and she covers them well. She does her research. She does her homework, like myself and like Joe Kaiser here does. And she loves the Constitution, like we all do.
Balance is in the lobby. You should ask him to come on.
Is he? Oh, hey, I don't. Maybe he doesn't see the. Let's see. I can't tell. It doesn't give me a list of who's actually in the lobby. So, but there we go. If anybody wants to come on in, there you go. You guys can come on in and join in. All right. So, Sergeant Shadow. Since you're new, we were talking about. All right. I mean, I think we've already covered it in the beginning, but there's more here. So, there was this article that talked about Donald Trump declaring this week Human Rights Week, today Bill of Rights Day. But the problem with that is it was already declared in 1983 by President Ronald Reagan. Go on YouTube, you can find the speech that he gave that commemorated. You can see him signing it into law. I mean, I just watched it last night, so I know it's still there. Unless somehow Donald Trump had it removed to prove his point. Might have. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. But so, Shadow, what do you think of that? Do you think that he thinks so? He thinks so less of the people that are supporting him that they will just believe anything he says without doing the proper research?
I'm a Trump supporter, just so you know.
And that's fine. And well, this is great then. So then, how does that make you feel, and how he thinks that you would just believe anything he says as opposed to looking at the facts? And I'm not trying to attack Trump. Something that I thought was interesting, and just wow. You know what I mean? I mean, why?
Well, name one president that hasn't lied.
Okay, no, you're right. And there are presidents that do lie. It's not just the fact that he's lying. He's trying to sign a bill that's already been signed. You don't see a problem with that?
Well, no. Is it affecting his job?
It's getting him support that he already that is getting him. He can use it as a say, look, I signed this in to to be a patron. I'm more patriotic than this president because I signed Bill of Rights Day when no other president did. When you know what I mean? It's already been signed. I mean,
No, you see, you're
they'll be
one
like
of those.
they'll be like Obama saying, well, you know what? I signed the treaty that stopped the Vietnam War.
See, you're the one of those people that like putting words in his mouth and twisting everything he does. I don't care what he does, what he signs, as long as he does his job. And he ran on certain things that he was going to do when he became president, and he's pretty much did them all.
So you really have no problem with him signing a law in fine acting like he's signing a law and that's already been signed in the law. You don't have a problem with that at all.
No, I have a problem with the other side saying that they are going to give free health care and free schooling and free money to illegal immigrants instead of taking care of the problem that we already have with our citizens.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm not on the Democratic side. I'm like I said before. I'm more moderate. I'm more in the middle. I see the good and bad on both sides. Uh,
But
just
you're concentrating on something right now, like what you're just talking about, him signing this thing that's already been in law, and it's gonna get him support. That's not what's going to get him support. If the Democrats haven't learned since the 2016 election, that little shit that they think caused the reason that Hillary Clinton lost is bullshit. Hillary Clinton lost because of how she handled Benghazi when she was the Secretary of State. Hillary Clinton lost because she went to West Virginia and said she was going to put coal miners and coal mine workers out of business. Hillary Clinton cost herself the election because she called Americans fucking deplorables. She didn't lose because of some fucking server that she lied about. She lost because she attacked the United States people, and she lost because she didn't protect our people overseas.
oh yeah,
That's
she
why
lost that
she
election
lost.
round around. Oh yeah, you'll never hear me say Hillary. Hillary would have been a horrible president. No doubt in my mind. Didn't vote for Hillary. Never would. Forget her.
But the
Um,
Democrats are doing the same thing. They're doubling down on saying free health care for everybody, free schooling for everybody, free this for everybody, free that for everybody, but they're not telling you how they're going to pay for it. And that's what's going to cost the Democrats the election this year.
well, yeah, that and this witch hunt for an impeachment, which is just not ever going to happen. It's just going to get more. It's going to cost people that wouldn't have voted for him. This whole impeachment scandal, and they're going to force them to, say, well, you guys are just stupid, and you guys are socialists. I'm voting for Trump. So,
But why did you bring up the very first thing you talked about is why Trump would do something like this, and why wouldn't you
yeah,
bring up everything the Democrats are doing? Why is it that moderates, the Democrats and everything, it's always Trump did this or Trump did that or Trump lied about this, when the Democrats are lying every fucking day to the American people, and the American people are catching on to them.
because this is a discussion about the Bill of Rights, and Trump tried to sign a law in saying that today's Bill of Rights thing was already free. That's why it's relevant. This has nothing to do with the Democrats. You brought in the Democrats. I'm not a Democrat. I
But
was
why,
I was simply trying to point out something that I found funny and I found not very not a cool thing to do, not a good thing to do at all. I mean, why
Was it against the law to what he did? Did he break the law?
Kenny, real quick here. I was kind of doing some research here in the background, and I don't know if that's exactly the case. It looks like that there's been several presidents to proclaim this day. It looks like something. This is what presidents do. There's been several. Donald Trump did it last year. He did it this year. There's a bunch of presidents that, like, I didn't really look deep into it, but I'm seeing like there's several presidents that have done this. I don't. So maybe it's like some sort of tradition. I don't know. I'm kind of getting that sense.
Okay, well, that could be true. Well, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I definitely see that there's like news articles that are old, and there's been several presidents going back a while.
Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, the article I read, it didn't say he was reaffirming it. It said he was signing it into law. This one you're saying he's reaffirming the law that was already passed?
Creating proclamating this day. Proclaims. He proclaimed several days, and he did it last year. He did it this year, and it's very similar. Human Rights Week, Bill of Rights Day. Maybe he has to. Maybe that's something that has to be done for government purposes, or I don't know.
That could be the case. Okay, well, you know, if that's the case, then you know I apologize. But just I guess the wording is what goofed me on that one because if they would have said they're reaffirming it, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, you know, hey, you know, hell yeah, reaffirm it. That's a good thing to reaffirm. But the wording makes it seem like they're, you know, doing it all over again.
Well, you know, you got to understand too. Some of the media that you might follow or see out there, they want you to think a certain way, and they're pretty successful at doing it, I think.
So it's the mainstream media that's lying, in other words, because like Trump didn't use those words, but they did.
I see it a lot.
Yeah,
I see it a lot. And I'll go and I'll research something, and this happens to me. Like, I'll think one way, but when I research it, I'm like, wait, what the hell are they talking about?
right.
Well, just like Trump in Thanksgiving, you know, look at the Washington Post saying, "Oh, Trump going to Key Largo to play golf while the troops are overseas," blah blah blah. And where did he end up? He ended up overseas serving fucking Thanksgiving dinner to the troops.
Right.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny, huh?
Lying again.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything Trump does is right, but I mean, I'd rather have a president that ain't going to spend my tax money on illegal aliens.
Right.
Oh yeah, totally agree. That's something. Yeah, I totally agree. The whole aliens thing, they're breaking the law. They can come. We have ways they can come in legally that they should. They should abide by the law just like everyone else has to abide by the laws.
But the sad thing is the three top runners of the Democratic Party that are running for president all agree on spending money on the illegal immigrants, and that's against the law. But nobody's calling them out on it. Nobody's trying to press charges on them. It's ironic.
Well, one reason why they're not calling them out on it is because the mainstream media is mostly Democrats. I mean, the people that are actually talking on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. So now we're going to start the quiz. Is everyone ready for the quiz?
We're having
a Constitution quiz. So I hope this is it. So we're having it. If anybody wants to join in, we got someone. He didn't want to be a part of the quiz. Okay. All right, so it's just you guys. If anybody else wants to join, you're more than welcome to. All right, so here we go. Question 1. What is the main purpose of the United States Constitution? A, to declare independence from Great Britain. B, to establish a new government for the United States and designate its power and limits, lay the groundwork for ending slavery in the United States. Or D, to provide citizens with a written record of the Constitutional Convention?
What was B?
A new government for the United States and designate its powers and limits.
That one.
That one?
Yeah.
All right, what about you, socially relevant? What do you say?
B.
All right, and you guys would be correct.
Awesome.
Yay, you're 100% so far. Moving on. Let's see. Hold on. Stupid. Hold on. Let's see. Which question two, guys? Question two. Next unit quiz. Maybe that's what it is. Come on. Not letting me move on. What's up with that? Maybe it's this one. No, that's an ad. I hate these websites sometimes.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about too.
It's not letting me move to the next question. It's like, come on, where's the next question? List. Here we go. Oh, there we go. All right, moving on. Number two. I think. All right, what is the introductory sentence of the Constitution called? A, the Bill of Rights. B, the Articles of Confederation. C, the Preamble. Or D, the Constitutional Address.
C.
The preamble.
All right, okay, and Joe?
The preamble.
Joe, you are correct. It is C, the Preamble. All right, so far, you guys keep track of what you guys got right. So far, Joe's got 2, and socially, you've got 1.
No, I said C. I said C.
She answered before I did.
Oh, did she? Okay, my bad. My bad, okay. Let's move on. Question 3. What do the 3 articles of the Constitution accomplish? A, outline the responsibilities and powers of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches. B, clearly define the fundamental rights of all citizens. C, list the main reasons for separation from Great Britain. Or D, provide a vague outline of the American government.
What was the question?
What do the first 3 articles of the Constitution accomplish?
I'm going to say B.
Okay.
What was A again?
A was outline responsibilities and powers of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches.
I'm gonna go with D.
You're gonna go with which one?
D.
D. And that's provide a vague outline of the American government. That's what you're going with?
Yeah.
Okay, it's A. Outline the responsibilities and powers of the executive.
For some reason I thought that, but
yeah.
The first 3, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. All right.
It was like a trick.
Yeah, it kind of was, wasn't it?
I should have just went with it.
Yeah, usually your first answer is usually right. They always say to stick with it. All right, question 4. How did the framers of the Constitution aim to ensure a separation of powers between the 3 branches of government? A, they established a system of checks and balances such that each branch's power was limited by the other 2. They ensured considerable overlap between the different branches' roles and responsibilities such that negotiation and collaboration between the 3 branches over key decisions would be necessary. C, they attributed the same powers to multiple branches of government to ensure a slow decision-making process. Or D, all of the above.
I think it's A.
Oh my gosh. It's either A or D. So I have to
Yeah.
choose.
That's what I was thinking too. A or D. I don't know.
Now, hold on. A Balance is here, so let him get. What's up, A Balance? How's it going?
Fuck, Kenny, I apologize for leaving you hanging like that.
No worries.
I was stuck. I left you a message to say that I was here. It was me. I got my time screwed up, but I still had to dip out for 20 minutes to get some groceries and some shopping done. I apologize for it to you, man.
Oh, no worries, man. Well, we've been having a good time. We have Relevant. This is A Balance, and you already know Joe Kaiser.
Hey, Joe.
Tom.
She's a new YouTuber. She has a great channel. So if you like, all kinds of different stuff, check her channel out. She's pretty good. All
It's nice to meet you, socially relevant.
Same here, A Balance.
right, so we're in the middle of the Constitution quiz right now. We're on question 4. Would you like to jump in and start at question 4, or do you just want to hang back?
No, I'll jump in. I'll jump in and just give me a penalty for the first couple.
No problem. We can do that. Well, yeah, okay, that's fair. So it's question 4. How did the framers of the Constitution aim to ensure a separation of powers between the 3 branches of government? A, they established a system of checks and balances such that each branch is hit by the other 2. B, they ensured considerable overlap between the different branches' roles and responsibilities such that negotiation and collaboration between the 3 branches. Next. They attributed the same powers to multiple branches of government to ensure a decision-making process. All of the above.
It's A.
Okay. And Joe, you said
I'm going with A.
Yeah, A makes the most sense to me.
that is a good thing. You also pushed A because that is the answer. All right. So moving on to question 5. All right. What does Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution accomplish? This should be easy. We should all get this one. Explains the powers. Yeah. Explains the powers of the executive branch. The powers of the legislative branch. C. Explains the powers of the judicial branch. D. Outlines the relationship between each state and others, and between the states and the federal government.
The legislative branch.
Okay.
Repeat the question, Kenny.
Yeah.
What does Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution accomplish?
Article 1.
Not News Patrick says A as well. Steve says A and B. Gab Turkey says A.
I say the legislative branch.
What was that?
It describes the Congress and legislative branch of the federal government.
Okay. And Joe?
What was that?
Explains the powers of the executive branch.
And what was B?
Legislative. And C is a judicial.
Go with B.
B. Okay, and that is correct. It's the legislative branch. Congratulations. Hey, we're doing pretty good. All of a sudden, A-Balance is here, and all of a sudden, everyone got a little bit smarter. What's up with that, man? Like, good luck, A-Balance, or something.
Dude, I went to Crib Notes this morning.
Oh,
I posted it on my Discord, so I had a quick refresher.
nice.
It started coming back to me a bit.
Okay. All right. What does Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution accomplish? A. Wait, first of all, did everyone get the question?
Yeah.
Article 2, yeah.
Okay.
What does it accomplish?
A. Explains the powers of the executive. B. Explains the powers of the legislative branch. C. Explains the powers of the judicial branch. D. Outlines between each state and between the states and the federal government. That's not a very fair one because you already know it's not B.
Yeah. What was A?
Explains the powers of the executive branch.
Yeah, I'll go with A.
It's a taste that's A as well.
A.
Yeah, A.
So everyone says A. Are you all balance the same?
No.
You guys are correct. I'm just messing with you, but yeah, it's correct. All right. All right. So far, everyone showed up, man. Pretty good. All right. Question 7. What does Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution accomplish? A. Executive branch. B. C. Judicial branch. Or D. Outlines the relationship between each state, between the states, and the federal government.
C.
The judicial branch.
Okay. That's a good point, isn't it, James? Hey, Balance, what do you say?
It describes the judicial branch.
All right, and you guys are all correct yet again. Yay for you. All right. Question 8. All right, this one's a little more tougher. What article outlines the process of the Constitution? A, Article 4. B, Article 5. C, Article 6. Or D, Article 7.
Say the question again.
Can you repeat the question for my benefit, please?
Which article outlines the process for amending the Constitution?
Oh, for amending the Constitution. Article 5.
Okay.
Is there a 7 or an 8? 7.
7 would be D.
Yeah, D.
I think Article 5.
And it is Article 5, B. So 2 of you got that right. And did anyone? No one in the chat even attempted that one. All right, moving on. All right, so there's 18 questions. We're on question 9. Which outlines the relationship between the federal and state governments? A, Article 4. B, Article 5. C, Article 6. Or D, Article 7.
4.
Damn.
Okay. Socially relevant. A, 4.
Well, I'm going to have to agree Article 4 as well. I'll agree with socially relevant.
Okay. We have 2 for Article 4. Joe, what do you say? Hey, Joe, what do you say?
What were the choices again?
Article 4, Article 5, Article 6, and Article 7.
Oh man. We're gonna set Article 7.
Okay, it's Article 4. I think Kay's it was Article 4. But Vlad here, it's kind of had my sentiments. No Googling, please. I hear some clicking going on in the background, and I hope that's not someone looking at you.
That's me cooking dinner.
Oh, gotcha.
Chicken noodle soup on the stove.
That's some good stuff. I love chicken noodle soup.
Oh, yeah, man.
Moving on. Number 10. What does the Supremacy Clause in Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution accomplish? Geez, do they even teach this one in the schools? A, it establishes the president as the supreme authority in times of crisis. Okay. It declares the United States the greatest and most powerful nation on earth. C, it establishes the Supreme Court as the supreme authority in times of crisis. D, it establishes the Constitution as the highest law within the borders of the United States.
I'll go D on this one. The Constitution is the supreme law. I'll take that one.
All right.
I'm going with D also.
Okay.
Huh. Jeez. Well, what was A again?
A is it establishes the president as the supreme authority in the time of crisis.
The Supremacy Clause?
Yeah.
Christ.
I remember Josh Abrams repeating this over and over again, the Supremacy Clause.
Okay.
That's why it's in my mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I guess I'll go with D. I don't know.
And that would be a good choice. All right, moving on. Question 11. What are the conditions for what are the conditions for ratification of the Constitution set out in Article 7? A. All of the states must ratify the Constitution. B. 9 of the 13 states must ratify the Constitution. C. 7 of the 13 states must ratify the Constitution. Or D. The Constitution goes to effect on a state-by-state basis as it is ratified.
What was A?
All of the states must ratify the Constitution.
Well, that would make the most sense, wouldn't it? But it's probably wrong.
7 out of 13.
Wait,
Okay.
what was B?
B is 9 of the 13 states must ratify the Constitution.
I'm going with B.
Well, there's 7 originals, or B. Geez, I should just cheat on this one, but I'm going to guess. I could go and read this, but I would assume that, okay, it's not fair for everybody. So was there 7 or 9 original states that allowed everybody else or formed the Americas? I'm going to go with B. I'm going to say 9. I'm going to go because there's probably always two small ones. So I'm going to say 9 of the original states have to ratify.
Yes, that was right. It was 9 of the 13, which I think falls into the 2/3 clause for other amendments as well.
Was my way of thinking right for that, for just guessing?
That was a good guess. Yeah, that was a good guess.
Yeah, I just guessed on that one. So 7 and 9. Now, the question is, can you name all 9 states there?
That signed it?
No, yeah. Can you name them off the top of your head? Bang, bang, bang.
I think it'd be.
You could just go right down the eastern seaboard, really, couldn't you?
I think it was
Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York,
Rhode Island and Selma.
Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine.
But was Florida even a state back then? Probably not.
So back when this was all happening, the District of Columbia, like Washington itself, when was it considered its own district of like?
They operated out of New York for a while.
Yeah. Once the White House was built, I think that's when it
went to New York, and then they made the final move to the District of Columbia.
Yeah.
And was that all during George Washington's stay as president, or before that?
I think Abraham Lincoln. I think Lincoln was the first president in the White House. If I'm correct.
Yeah, something.
That's a good trivia question for me. Those are pretty neat. Anyway, I will keep going.
All right. Moving on. What conditions must be met in order to amend the Constitution? A. The House of Representatives must ratify the amendment with a 2/3 majority. B. Senate must ratify the amendment with a 2/3 majority. C. 3/4 states must ratify the amendment either in state legislatures or in conventions. Or D. All of the above.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Go through it again, Kenny.
All right. A. The House of Representatives must ratify the amendment with a 2/3 majority. B. The Senate must ratify the amendment with a 2/3 majority. C. 3/4 of states must ratify the amendment either in state legislature or in conventions. Or D. All of the above.
I think it's B.
Okay.
I would say B too, because it would have to go through the House of Representatives first, right?
Yeah, it would.
And then it'll go to 2/3 majority of the next. So
it usually goes through the House of Representatives first, and then it goes through the Senate.
I'm going to go B. I'm going to go B, 2/3 of the Senate.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah, the 2/3.
Okay. It's 3/4 of the states must ratify the amendments either in state legislatures or in the conventions. So you guys got that one wrong. So Article 5 states, that a constitutional amendment can be proposed with either a two-thirds vote from both houses of Congress or by a convention of states. However, it must be ratified by 3/4 of the states in order to become a constitution. This difficult process was implemented to ensure that any changes to the Constitution had broad support from the states and the people.
2 ways. That makes more
Yeah,
sense.
that
than
does.
explaining
Yeah.
it. It's 2 ways to get the same thing done, type of thing.
Yeah, pretty good.
Or checks and balances. That's your checks and balances.
Yeah. All right. How can an amendment to the Constitution be formally proposed? A state legislature can propose an amendment and submit it for a ratification vote. B, an amendment can be proposed by of states called for by 2/3 of the state legislatures. C, the Supreme Court can propose amendments when issuing unanimous opinions. Or D, none of the above.
I don't think it's any of those.
I think it's A.
Yeah.
How can it be proposed? So before it even gets rolling, it has to be brought to the table.
Yes.
Can you repeat? Can you just give me the first 3 again? The answers.
Okay. First one is a state legislature can propose an amendment and submit it for a ratification vote. B is an amendment can be proposed by a convention of states called for by 2/3 of the state legislatures. And the third one is a Supreme Court amendments when issuing unanimous opinions.
I would have to say B, because that's kind of the same answer as the one before. So, I mean, wouldn't it kind of be the same thing, only describing it differently? I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to go B.
Okay. Kay says D. And socially relevant, what do you say?
A.
All right, so answer is B. Amendment can be proposed by convention of states called for by 2/3 of state legislatures. So I think A-Balance, you got that one right.
Yep.
Joe, did you get that one right?
Oh.
Okay. And Taze, you didn't get.
Did it get hot in here, Joe? It just got hot in here. I didn't even cheat on that one. No, it was neat though. I'm learning all kinds of neat stuff, so I'm just
Yeah, I know. This is fun. All right, so question 14.
They're tricky.
Oh yeah, they are. The necessary and proper clause grants blank the power to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution.
Look, you're going to have to repeat that one for me,
Okay.
Kenny.
The necessary and proper clause, that's the clause, grants blank the power to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution.
Grants Congress?
Huh?
2/3 of the Senate.
Oh, no, I haven't given you guys the answers yet.
Okay.
So A, Congress, B, the President, C, the Supreme Court, or D, the American military. Oh, that would be awesome.
That's hardcore. That's only in other countries. That's foreign policy. No, I like. I'm going to have to say Congress.
Okay. Taze says D. Yeah, I'm with you, Taze. It would be great if it was the American military, but I'm pretty sure it's not. All right, so socially relevant, what do you say?
A.
Congress as well. And Joe?
Yeah. A.
And you would all be correct. It is Congress. Yeah, that's the only one that really makes sense in that one, right? I mean, none of the other ones make any sense.
Yeah,
President doesn't have as much power as a lot of people think he does.
No.
So yeah, that makes sense. All right, so far I'm at 62%, so I'm not doing so bad, but not too great. I think A-Mouse is still leading though. I think you missed like one or two maybe, which is pretty
Yeah, but
good.
I missed the first two, so you can hold that against me at the end.
That's true. We sure can, and I think we will. All right.
Well, that's an embargo. That's trivia embargo. That's a trivia trade embargo.
Question 15. How does the Constitution ensure popular sovereignty? Oh boy. A. Bill submitted to Congress by an American citizen must be debated and granted an up or down vote. B. Free elections must be held regularly. C. Government officials can be censured by popular vote. Or D. All of the above.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
How does the Constitution ensure popular sovereignty?
I would say all of the above. All of the above, probably. There'll be more than one way, so it's. I should actually repeat the answers before I put a final on that one.
All right. A is bills submitted to Congress by an American citizen must be debated and granted an up or down vote. B, free and fair elections must be held regularly. C, government officials can be censured by popular vote.
Did you say censored by popular vote?
Censured, yes.
C.
Well, how could you? No, let me think about that one.
I think B.
Okay, Joseph B.
Yeah.
What was A again?
Bills submitted to Congress by an American citizen must
It's
be
just got to be
debated.
B. The others are a bit fucking shady. Yes or no? That's like Roman times.
Yeah, right?
Nope. Thumbs down, boys.
Socially relevant?
Well, I was looking for the one that you said majority vote, but that sounds like A, right?
No,
Well,
A is the.
you're all about, but no, but they don't sit there and do a thumbs up and thumbs down vote in the Senate.
No.
Not in 2019.
No. Okay, so what was C?
Government officials can be censured by popular vote.
Well, okay, B.
Okay, so everyone says B,
Yeah.
and everyone is correct. And it says popular sovereignty is that the government gets its power from its citizens. Voting gives the American people the ability to elect representatives to serve and promote their views. Should an official fail their constituents, re-election is unlikely. I guess that depends on if there's somebody running against them too. Like Barbara Boxer keeps getting elected, and keeps happening. She fails all the time. All right, I'm sorry, not Pelosi. She keeps failing. That's right. But I don't think Boxer's even there anymore. All right, question 16. How does a rule of law outlined in the Constitution ensure a limited government? A. Did everyone get that question?
Yep. How does it ensure a limited government?
Okay. A. The Constitution must be ratified again by 3/4 majority of the states every 20 years. B. The Constitution limits the number of federal laws and government officials. C. The Constitution can be superseded by laws of the individual states. Or D. The Constitution applies to everyone, even the highest-ranking government officials.
So repeat the question again, please.
How does a rule of law outlined in the Constitution ensure a limited government?
And A was what?
The Constitution must be ratified again by 3/4 majority of the states every 20 years.
Wait, can you go through the answers again?
Yes, I sure can.
Yeah.
A. The Constitution must be ratified again by 3/4 majority of the states every 20 years. That's A. B. The Constitution limits the number of federal laws and government officials. C. The Constitution can be superseded by the laws of individual states. And D. The Constitution applies to everyone, even the highest-ranking government officials.
B.
Okay. You said B?
Yeah, B, yeah.
No. Well, read that answer on B, please.
B. The Constitution limits the number of federal laws and government officials.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. How does it limit? Go ahead, Joe. You answer this one first.
D.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. But it's worded. It's the wording in the answers that is tricky, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most truest answer on that is D. It does apply to everybody. That's true. And the other ones have a bit of an element of oddity. I'm going to say D. I can afford it. I think D.
Okay. And Joe, you say
D.
all right.
Joe faked me out.
The answer is D. The Constitution applies to everyone, even the highest-ranking government officials.
Oh,
Good
wow.
job.
That sucks for me.
Yeah.
Socially irrelevant.
Yeah.
Just kidding, you socially.
That would have been interesting. It would have been A. I was like, I've never heard of it has to be ratified again every 20 years. Never heard that. You'd think that was.
Well, isn't that handy, eh? It's not worth the paper it's written on if they can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can amend something, but you can't rewrite it.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to the answers better.
All right. Oh, oops, I went one over. Here we go. 17.
You shouldn't have to cheat if you can listen to the answers and pick that out. I think that's the trick to this.
Yeah, I think so too. Exactly. The ones that make more sense, you know?
Yeah, the most.
Some of them are just out there.
Yeah.
All right. What are powers and reserved powers in the Constitution? Okay. A. Enumerated powers are the explicitly stated powers of the federal government, whereas reserved powers are those given to the states. B. Enumerated powers are the explicitly stated powers of the state governments, whereas reserved powers are those of the federal government. C. Enumerated powers clearly define the lawful actions of citizens, whereas reserved powers define the lawful actions of government on behalf of its citizens. For D, enumerated powers must be approved by state legislatures, whereas reserved powers must be approved by two Congress. Oh, wow, that is a tough one.
C.
Okay, Joseph C.
Jesus, I hate to put you through reading that question again.
Okay, you want to?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to hear that again.
Okay. What are enumerated powers and reserved powers in the A is enumerated powers are the explicitly stated powers of the federal government, whereas reserved powers are those given to the states. B, enumerated powers are the explicitly stated powers of the state government, whereas reserved powers are those given to the federal government. C.
A.
You say A?
No, reserved or they reserve it for the federal government. It's your powers given to the state or the province, but reserved for the federal government. That's my answer to that. Enumerated.
So reserved to the federal government?
Yes, reserved to the federal government.
Okay, so A.
Yes.
All right. Do you need me to read all the answers again?
No, I just want to say. Okay, A.
A. Okay. And Joe, you're sticking with B or C?
What did I? C. Yeah.
You're sticking with C. Okay. All right. It is A. Enumerated powers are explicitly stated powers of the federal, whereas reserved powers are those given to the states. All right.
Oh, I fucked that up. That's not right. I didn't answer that right then.
Yeah, you did. You got A.
Well, I said reserved for the federal. That's what I meant. So
Oh,
my
okay.
answer, you attributed my answer to the right letter, but my
okay.
answer was not correct.
Oh, okay. My bad. All right. So, last question. Which of the following is a concurrent power? A, the power to declare war. B, the power to tax. C, the power to establish public schools. Or D, all of the above.
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Which of the following is a concurrent power?
Current power.
Concurrent, yes.
Concurrent. I'm going to have to say something that's concurrent in this situation. I'm going to have to go with it's situational. Whatever is happening in the now, that would be the right to declare war. That would be a concurrent.
Okay, so you say A, declare war.
Or it could be the exact opposite of that. I'm going to go with A.
Okay. You guys need me to read that again for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So which of the following is a concurrent power? A, the power to declare war. B, the power to tax. C, the power to establish public schools. Or D, all of the above.
A.
Okay.
You can apply that. Fuck. That could be all the above too.
All the
I mean,
above.
because they're all situational, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So are you switching it to all of the above, or are you sticking with A?
I'm going to go with all the above.
Okay. Socially relevant, are you sticking with A?
Education, money, generation.
So you're all switching to D.
Yeah, I'm going to go with D.
Socially relevant, you should have stayed. It was power to tax.
Fuck, concurrent.
Yeah,
See, no
because-
wonder we all don't know that. We're fucking poor.
Yeah.
We should know what that means. Gosh.
All right, so that was it. I think everyone did really well. I got 59%, so I didn't do that horribly, but I didn't do that great. About since you missed the 4 first questions, we're gonna go ahead and take away 2 of yours to even it out. So I think everyone did pretty well once you started showing up. So I don't really know who won. Did anyone really keep track of how many they got?
The people won.
The people won. There we go.
Because we explained the Charter of Rights pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're all
Charter of
gonna have
Rights,
to
well, the
pack-
Constitution, but
Case is correct. We're all gonna have to pack up and leave because we didn't do that well. We let the Canadian beat us. We are not Americans. We apologize. We completely apologize.
you're not as American as you walked in here.
Hey,
Yeah.
You're a little less American.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm a little bit more Americanized.
There you go. All right, so welcome, A Balance. We went through quite a couple of things. So since you're here, let's go ahead and talk about it. Are you familiar with the sanctuary city, the Second Amendment sanctuary cities that we have going at all? Do you know anything about them?
The Second Amendment sanctuary cities. So that would be cities that have a restriction on guns, like Chicago would probably be one of them. Yeah.
No, the sanctuary city. It's more like.
But that's me
if the
guessing, of
government-
course.
If the government decides to take away the Second Amendment right, which they probably won't ever do, but if they did, then these cities be safe havens where you can keep your gun.
Oh, okay. So cities with the exact opposite as I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
They're a sanctuary for the Second Amendment. Okay.
Yes. So yeah, there's it's pretty much the exact same thing they're doing for illegal aliens, but for the Second Amendment. A lot of cities are doing it, and a lot of counties starting to do it. And I thought, being this Bill of Rights Day, it'll be interesting. We had a little discussion about it earlier with Joe and Social Relevant and myself gave our opinions. So what about your opinion on this whole thing?
My opinion is that it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it impacts those in particular cities, and it's a more controlled way to kind of watch statistics in real time, and as it's happening. I think it's obviously a great idea. United States is a great place, a great country, and I mean they're gonna, it's a great way if it's a sanctuary city. It's going to be kind of an interesting to see how these people develop within that city underneath the. Well, I'm not talking about the Second Amendment. I'm talking about foreigners, migrate.
Yeah.
Help me out here. Help me out in the word.
You're
What am I looking
talking
for?
about the illegal people.
Yes.
Okay.
So the sanctuary cities, as I believe, as you just explained it to me, does that apply to Mexicans as well, like people crossing the border, or just Second Amendment?
Yeah. The topic that Kenny had brought up today, he was talking about the 2A, the Second Amendment.
The two-way. Well,
Like the 2A sanctuary.
There's now some counties within the states that are saying, just for Second Amendment gun rights, that you can be safe here. You're not going to be violated. You can have your gun no matter what happens.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Now, what's the worst case scenario that can happen out of that? Like, so what in reality, what's different? So life is the same. It's just in case that anybody, depending on what gets voted and what happens federally or states, that no matter what happens in the city, you're able to carry your gun. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You got it.
So that's got to be a bit controversial. So what is it worth? The people in those cities, what if they are dead set against guns or something like that? They'll just have to move.
Well, why do we need the politicians and the government anymore if they can't even sit there and say, okay, this is what we're going to do for the nation? You know that the majority of the nation does not want them to take guns away.
Oh no, I understand that, and I'm with you on that. I'm a big believer in that Second Amendment, and I wish it applied here. So that's because it's such a hot topic of debate too. So has it raised? Is there anything in the news that like what city in particular is it quite vocal, or is it an issue, or has it really come to the surface yet? Or is it too new?
When we looked at the map today, it was looking like the majority of the 2A areas are the West Coast, except not California, and the Midwest. And like there's only like 3 small regions here on the East Coast.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be much of a split within, you know.
Well, it's not going to really affect. It's not going to affect your day-to-day business. It shouldn't affect that, should it?
No. I mean, I guess essentially what they're saying is that there's other counties where there's certain officials like sheriffs that are being vocal to do the opposite. So there's counties that are voicing up and saying, "Hey, we don't care what you do, what you're going to do. We're going to have our guns here." So.
Well, now I'll give you a scenario. What about, like, here's a scenario. What happens if you live in Alaska? Like you're telling me there's parts of, I wouldn't be seen dead without a gun in Alaska.
I think from the map, it looked like the entire Alaska is a 2A zone. That's what the map showed.
Yeah,
Montana, like Wyoming. There's plenty of places out there that it's still wild, and you still need to carry some protection for yourself.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, that's never just wild animals don't give a shit about voting, so it's kind of necessary way of life for a lot of folks, and it's a normal way of life. It's just abnormal and completely the opposite to people in a city, in a certain way.
Don't you feel like since they have that now, don't you feel like in a way that some people in the government have taken away rights?
I think that's an argument that can be made, but I think it's probably quashed out because it's not the intention of it at the end of the day. But it does seem kind of funny when you imagine it and try to put it together in your head. It seems contradictory there a little bit. Now, what do you think? Like, you tell me what you think, because I think it's interesting because if you voted, but I have to think about it a little differently because you can vote both for your president and your local representative.
I think that it looks like they have taken away some rights and I'm not saying for 100% of America, but what I'm saying is that they've done it in a very crafty, conniving way. But yes, they have taken away some rights because before they did this, the entire America was 2A. So
what it's really doing is that to some people where this, like who it's going to affect, I don't know. And I can't imagine, but there is say if you voted for an individual, who is really going to feel let down that issue? It's just a conflict of interest within that particular issue, but it shouldn't interfere with who they're going to vote with too badly.
I don't think that people should vote anymore. I think you should get ready for if the government continues this, you need to get ready to be able to fight for yourself and for your home.
Well, that risk is always there, despite your government.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't let them take your guns away for people who have them. And you know what? For people who have them, I think they're already woke and they already know that.
Yeah. Is it too of a? Well, it's needed. It's there to protect a risk that is always going to be there, despite the government. You know. So I think it's probably they did the right thing, but it's interesting to kind of play with that.
We need to continue to have YouTube and the platforms like this.
Well, sorry, socially, I would see I would kind of interpret it to be just another right that you need to protect. Like, here's a situation where they had to enact this, where there's a safe zone for the Second Amendment. That's almost, in my mind, kind of an amendment to an amendment there, or another clause in there that says, hey, that you need to protect, and it's there for a reason.
Sorry about that, guy.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, because you're seeing it in like the opposite way that I'm seeing it.
Yeah, but I see your way too. I do see your way, but I mean, I'm trying to look at it like, why is it there in the first place? I'm trying to understand it in a short amount of time. You've had a lot longer to digest it, of course.
Well, you know what, A Balance, the thing is that I'm actually here in America, and unfortunately the way I see things is real, and it's unfortunate, but like I feel like I have to talk about it, because I feel like this is this threat. Not only does it exist right now, but I feel like they are going to continue taking away ground that our forefathers already said that we have as the people.
Yeah, so that's obviously a worry on everybody's mind constantly over time. Now, what is your particular problem with it specifically? May I ask?
But specifically is that it relates to the whole topic we've been talking about this evening, which is the Constitution as the backbone and the foundation of this country and the freedoms that the people have.
So in your mind, let me get this. So in your mind, this new this new two-way sanctuary conflicts with the natural due process of the Constitution and how people enact laws and vote things in. That's your problem with it?
Yeah, because the Constitution was already here before these jerks made this new change. The Constitution was already here.
Well, yes.
What I'm saying is that the Constitution is something that should not be messed with. No amendments should be taken away. And the thing is that somebody could say, well, 2A was not being completely taken away. What I'm saying is that you shouldn't mess with it. Even anybody trying to take anything away from it is a tyrant, and that's tyranny, and it's wrong.
So what happens when everybody involved in enacting this agrees about that?
Yeah,
okay,
but
they already agree, but there's still a situation in 2019, that is this not to protect the Second Amendment?
No, it's
and
not.
At the end of the day,
it's to take away areas that were fine with 2A, and now they have taken away a whole bunch of areas, and they're saying that it's not protected in those areas.
Okay. I see where it's going. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm back, guys.
Well, that's a good point, socially relevant. Like, I mean, you bring up good points. Now I have a bit of an interest in it, because so what you're saying, as it is on its surface, there's problems that are coming up with it.
Yeah, because like the way that I'm looking at it, the perspective I have is that when you understand the Constitution, those were rights that we already have. Like Joe, for example, in New Jersey, that was a right that was already taken away from him. And I have a problem with that, because as an American, I care about everyone in every single state, including New Jersey. And I don't think that was okay for them to take away that right for him or anybody else in that state.
For the record, I agree with you on that socially. I believe that should be, every state should be able to be open carry, but I'm a Canadian, of course, so don't take my word too seriously.
No, but I don't think it's even like it's not only open carry, it's even to have and own the gun and keep it at your home.
Yep. It's difficult to have both sides of the fence, that's the problem.
Yeah, in New Jersey, okay, we're allowed to have long guns in our home. We don't have to register them, but we can't use them.
Oh, really?
There's no castle laws. There's no, in order for you to use your firearm in New Jersey under law, well, let's put it this way: you automatically get arrested if you use your firearm, no matter what. That's just how it is. You use your firearm, no matter if it was legal or not. It doesn't matter. You get arrested and you go through a process. It is what it is. And for you to legally do it, there's a lot of elements that have to add up for that to happen. And that's why they automatically arrest you, because 9 out of 10 times you just can't make those elements add up.
Yeah, see, in my opinion, the fact that they took away their freedom to have a handgun in their home and to be able to use it if they deem it necessary, if you are on your own private property and if you deem it necessary, they have already taken that right away from the people in New Jersey, and I'm against that. I'm against it that they even have already done it. I'm still standing against that. And what we're saying is that there's people like me all throughout America that we're taking it for a certain amount of time, but there's going to be a point where we're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, totally agree. Sorry, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back. So you guys are having a quite interesting conversation. I didn't want to interrupt that. So New Jersey, you can have a firearm, but you can't use it.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're hunting. As far as self-defense goes, now, like, we don't have laws like these other states have. You just your best bet would be to kill the person and plant a gun on them. It's tough because they have to be fleeing. You have to meet equal resistance with equal resistance, which means they'd have to have a gun. You'd have to be in flight. You have to go through every single possibility you can go through before you're gonna use your weapon on the person. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth having it, using it, carrying it, because you are gonna get locked up. You are gonna go to jail. And you are going to have to face some sort of trial over it, plain and simple.
Are these recent changes to the law? Have been like this for a while?
No, they're not recent. It's been like that. It's how it is. There's been, of course, there's been people who have tried to challenge it. It just hasn't been very successful. I was on Wikipedia here, and if you go to the sanctuary city thing on Wikipedia, I'm reading through states where they say like so many out of so many counties have adopted Second Amendment sanctuary resolutions. When you get to New Jersey, you'll see it says 0 out of 21 counties had adopted resolutions. I mean, all these other states have some sort of resolution. We don't have it. Like, I'm just telling you, it's just not. We're not playing with guns here.
I did just pull that up. By the way, I pulled it up. I'm having a look at it now just to educate myself.
Check out New Jersey's gun laws. They'll blow your mind. I mean, I learned about it when I was young, of course, because we have hunting here. We hunt. I want to go hunting. And that's it. That's what a gun. That's it. That's what a gun's used for. We don't use rifles here. We use shotguns.
Are you allowed to use a rifle for hunting if you want to?
I don't know. I don't know for certain. Black powder, yeah, I know because I've been black. Now I don't know. I've always been out of state to go hunting because it sucks here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can use a rifle, to be honest with you.
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look into the New Jersey. Sounds like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It is. It's very ridiculous.
And can I just say, like, imagine the hypocrite factor. Imagine the hypocrite factor. All the police. Listen, they have rifle. They have whatever, any kind of gun under the sun.
Better believe it.
That's so unfair.
Better believe it.
Very unfair.
Oh yeah, the cops have all they have all the guns. They have plenty of weapons here.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Jeez, that's unreal.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on. All right, so now we can go ahead and talk more. Let's do some more auditing talk since we have a new guest here. Hey, Bounce, I'm sure you're aware of the new harassment policy that YouTube has adopted, yes?
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
And you are aware about fuzzy, I was going to say fuzzy, furry potatoes removed to the harassment policy?
I didn't see the video that was removed. I saw the aftermath.
Yeah, I didn't see the video either. I was turned on to that after the video had already removed. When I went to it, it said remove harassment. I'm like, oh, it was interesting because we had just talked about it, and on my last live stream, I read the policy and we were discussing it, and we were contemplating like, is this going to affect auditors? This is going to affect them. Lo and behold, right away, not what two days later, at least one auditor video has been removed. I'm sure others have been removed. I'm curious if Eric Brandt's have been removed. I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but it wouldn't surprise me if some of his got removed, if furry potatoes got removed too.
It's probably just a matter of a little bit of time. I mean, it happened pretty quickly for furry, so that kind of leads me to believe. Does that lead you to believe that maybe she was on somebody's radar?
Yeah, I'm thinking she was on. And then when I looked, because I was curious about it, so I'm like, okay, could it have been someone reporting her video? So I go to a video and I go to report, and it doesn't say anything about harassment as a reason to report somebody. So I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't a report. Maybe it was because YouTube uses a lot of AI to do a lot of their searching through videos.
Yep.
And so I'm thinking it's something in her, maybe it was something in the in her tags that drew them to it, because I'm sure they don't have time to go through each and every single uploaded video and what is offensive and what isn't. It seems like they've really updated their reporting process, at least not that I see, to affect the new harassment policy. So I don't know, but yeah,
you can't report a video for harassment.
Huh?
You can't.
I'm thinking, I didn't, when I pressed the report option, it didn't say harassment. It said there was like a bunch of options, but harassment wasn't.
So I'm looking at it right now, and I'm going to not report your video, but I hit that little flag button.
Yeah.
So it comes up. So it's going to be under harassment.
Hateful or abusive content.
Yeah, that's what I think. Maybe abusive content. Maybe that's where it would be. I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's bullying under there. Abusive title or description, abusing vulnerable individuals, promotes hatred or violence. That would be a form of bullying. Yes, that's a.
So it would be under that then. Okay.
Now, harmful, dangerous acts. No, that wouldn't. Now, promoting terrorism is an interesting one. Does there anything drop? Nope. But they have little questions, everything beside it, little question marks, of course.
Yeah.
So the violent, repulsive content.
Reverend Lunatic, no. She had moved that she posted a few days ago, and she requested.
Sorry, but
she posted a response video, just talking about how she doesn't like it. And if you go into the comment section of that video, a lot of her fans they're upset. Of course, they're understandably upset, but a lot of them don't seem to understand why the videos are removed. They're just assuming YouTube is picking on her, which
yeah, exactly. And man, that's anything but the truth. Now here, I'm just going to read. Excuse me. Content that promotes hatred against protected groups. For instance, Jewish people in synagogues, Muslims, any people like that would fall under that category right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right away. And there's already a long-standing watchdog groups and eyes that are on YouTube, especially when it comes around anti-Semitism, anything in bigger, with to do with stuff like that. They're all over the YouTube watching you. So I mean.
protected group. That's ridiculous.
No. Because of all the anti-Semitism during and around the war and before the war,
Right.
please be quiet. These groups were formed back then to protect these specific groups from the hatred.
Okay, are you talking about all the way from World War II that they are considered a protected group by the American government?
Well, no, that's not what I'm jumping one to the other. I was kind of using it in a different sense, but I was just trying to find a way where you could kind of file what Furry Potato was doing away in a flat and, reporting her content.
Can I be like a quote unquote devil's advocate here? Just to show the other side, which
Sure.
is let's look at it from Furry side. Furry is one individual, but because she is in America, she's supposed to have all these rights and freedoms that protect her rights. What about her right to go out there and exercise her freedom of speech?
Exactly. Well, that's what Furry's niche is. This is Furry's niche on YouTube, because here she's found something in the new that's never been, have never been here before, so to speak, on YouTube in 2019. It's happening in real time. Everything that she's doing is protected from, is essentially protected as it stands. But the problem is if you want to get into a debate over the ethics and the morality of what she's doing on the street, harassing and baiting, well, we can sit here all night if you'd like. We'll bring up plenty of people to point out where she's going wrong. We can do that in every video. But is it her right? Unfortunately, yes, but like harassment, it's never easy to point out. And if you look at the totality and what she does on her channel over time, that is what gets people's backs up. Now, it's her right to stand outside those synagogues and do her thing. We know what's going to happen. Okay. She's doing it. I'm not saying that she's purposely going out spreading hate. It's not what I'm sitting here saying, but I'm saying she knows exactly what she's doing, and we do too. And that's exactly where we are today on YouTube.
Can I just say, as a person who has watched, a whole bunch of auditors, including Furry and also SGV, when I was watching, and I'm talking about some of the content that was out, let's say roughly 3 and 4 months ago. So SGV also did a Jewish church kind of thing,
synagogue, yeah,
kind of like a temple basically, and it was at nighttime, and he was in a group with a couple of other auditors. And I heard him say that his position is not, he didn't single out a Jewish building. What he's been doing is he goes to all the buildings. And I totally understand that point. And I think that some of them are being honest and truthful when they say that, because if you look at their content, you can even see proof that they have a lot of other buildings too. For some of them, I don't think they're singling out that particular place. They're just including it in a whole.
Well, I've personally watched Furry Potato single out Russian Orthodox. Okay, I've been in her live streams many a times, because she has a common disdain for religion, and she's basically a neo-Marxist here in 2019, and she strongly dislikes any religion. It doesn't fucking matter. I watch her propaganda. But the problem is that I don't hate or want her shut down for that, of course. I'd like to influence her to change her ways, but unfortunately, what she's doing is popular, and it's I have to, at the end of the day, mostly within her rights to do so. But of course, within her doing this show, all kinds of separate drama comes up with different people, and there's different sides to this story. Do I like what she does out there on the street? No, not at all. I don't think it's morally right, but I do support her right to do it.
Right.
However, her and I might meet on a different level at some point in time here, but she has plenty of time to change her ways, because she knows better.
Well, I think that your voice is valid. I think all of your voices are valid, and you know what? From being here, I'm learning something. So,
and also you gotta think stance on this. They are a private company. They can say what goes in on their content on their platform, what doesn't go on their platform, and also. There is no bill of rights. I mean, they're talking about getting a digital bill of rights to help, solve some of these problems that companies are running into, that are, giving away information or whatever, which I think is way overdue. They should have did that as soon as they introduced the internet. But we're behind on the times. There's a lot of stuff that companies are doing, selling information, stuff like that. But back to my point, YouTube is a private company. they can say what goes on their platform, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Your First Amendment, unfortunately, when it comes to the private company, they can, you can do it, that's fine, but the YouTube doesn't have to put it on their platform. They can say, yeah, it's too controversial for us. You're able to do it, that's fine, but we don't want those.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Kenny, and sorry to interrupt you on that one. I watched her today, most recent video, and I was going to do a little piece on it, a response piece to Furry about this. She's talking all high and mighty that she's going to start her own platform, and man, I'm telling you, her getting off YouTube is going to be a major fucking fail. She won't last a second off of YouTube because there's about 3 people in my server right now that are just frothing at the mouth to take websites down for fun. And that's not out of malice, but they're not going to allow Furry Potato to run her own fucking little mafia of personal attacks on any religious entity. Now she's infringing on other people's rights to practice their freedom of speech in a sense. And how does she do that? You have to observe it over the totality of her things over a period of time. That's how harassment works, and that's how it's effective. Everybody knows it. Now, I'm speaking out against it, but I mean, it's not me that's going to do it, of course. I mean, I'm not threatening her, but there's umpteens. She has a lot of people that are after her in whatever communities. She's not going to last a minute. She's not going to last a minute. Her website will never remain up for more than 24 hours. It's not going to work like that. She may as well go get a Google.
Not only that, she's got to convince all the. I mean, she has something like what I saw some like.
Now she's opened herself up to all kinds of fucking lawsuits. Now that you know what I mean. Like on YouTube, she's somewhat protected, but she has to abide by the rules. Furry Potato does not like any sort of fucking rules. She's but she's a cult leader now. Now she has a huge following fucking from YouTube. She's got 1,300 people in her live stream. She's a cult leader now by circumstance.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. That is because if you're saying that some of the things she's doing is a little bit hateful, then that's a whole other story too.
Oh fuck! It's endless. Yeah. But I mean, if I don't dislike Furry at any, but I mean I see it. Everybody sees it. That's the controversy surrounding her. Is how she's treating people, and we're not talking about redressing your government, folks. We're talking about straight up harassment. Baiting people in. And dude, if you walk out anywhere in the middle of the street and start filming, people are going to fucking wonder what you're doing. That's a common human reaction. So that she uses that in certain scenarios, especially around places that are going to be a little bit, inquisitive as to why her presence is out around there based on facts, historical facts. And she just doesn't like the way life is, I guess. I shouldn't make any judgments upon her, but I know her game. Everybody in this room knows her game. Like, she's not gonna. She thinks that she's justified because she's seeing that those dollar signs increase.
I also think that if she does go and start her own platform, it's going to hinder her because she's not going to have the limitations that YouTube stops her from getting all these, like you're saying, lawsuits.
YouTube protects her. YouTube protects her from getting in trouble here. That's why they constantly change these rules.
She's going to end up costing her. It's going to cost more for her to do her own platform with all all this stuff she's going to open herself up to. So her best bet, I think, if she doesn't like YouTube, would go to BitChute. And I actually finally looked at BitChute for the first time. And yeah, it's interesting.
Well, she just has to change it up a bit. Like, she's in a position where she can be a really effective. She can affect change in a positive manner. How is she? How is anything that Furry Potato, Zoe Perez doing that is positive to change, the world in which we live, sort of thing? Fuck.
Well,
she hasn't done a fucking thing except influence a bunch of fucking radicals that hangs around her.
But there's word that she also helps out the homeless, which I think is a really good thing.
Oh, that's great. Who doesn't? I'm not taking that away from her. But I mean, if you're making it a photo op for yourself, then that's a part of the indoctrination here for her viewers.
That's true, but I totally agree with you that they need to she needs to do something more for her community. With the reach that she has and the rabidness of her followers, she could really get something done if she chose to put it in a and productive manner.
I think.
But that's not what she.
The question sorry,
No,
Sherry,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. I just wanted to say, from listening to both of you, it sounds like it's constructive criticism, and I think that that's a wonderful thing. This freedom of speech, I really do. You know what? If she heard some of this, maybe she could take a positive message from it, and you know what? Just tone it down even a little, and that would be.
No, I highly doubt.
What do you guys think is the problem? She goes on YouTube, Furry goes on YouTube and says that it's all about the trolls, and we'll use that in parentheses, but we'll get the trolls out of the equation. What do you think is Zoe? Why are people so upset at Furry Potato? Why, guys? One, a sentence answer. What do you think? Because she obviously is in denial about it. If you don't notice, you don't see Furry Potato going to air, addressing the actual problems that has arisen because of her activism.
Religious centers lately, and the people there don't like it.
I think that's something to do with
worship, private places of worship. You bait there. There's all kinds of scenarios that she does.
She creates entertainment. She creates entertainment. I'm not going to say she's not anything, but what I can say she is a content creator that creates entertainment. Definitely, without a doubt, 100%, and wants to keep that going. So maybe that's the formula that she's developed.
Maybe.
Yep. That's what she thinks, that this is it. This is how I can do that, and there's no really collateral damage behind it. When there is, I don't know. I don't watch her enough. I really don't know to have an opinion, but I do know from what I've seen, she creates content and she's an entertainer 100% without a doubt. She is that.
Yeah, and it works. I'm entertained all the time by it, and then I have to check myself. I'm like, oh God, I can't tell anybody I like that. I have to remember, you know what I mean? It's like
she's very entertaining. The stuff she does is very entertaining. I don't deny that. Offensive, yes, but I mean, there are a lot of comedians out there that are entertaining and offensive, but they know how to rein it in, as opposed to Furry doesn't really know how to rein it in. She's like, no, it's protected by First Amendment. All the comedians,
it's turned into something completely different.
Yeah, like comedians will be able to, if they go too far, okay, my fault, I went too far. Furry been protected too far. What? Come on.
I mean, have you ever heard Furry apologize to anybody that's, sometimes things gets out of control. I'm sure that's possibly happened, but you never see her apologize for situations.
No, never. And I think that would go. I honestly think that would go a long way in helping, because I mean, everyone makes mistakes. I mean, every YouTuber.
Because at the end of the day, she wants to bait somebody into the big payday. She wants to get somebody to cross that line, assault her. That way, she can open up a guaranteed amount of lawsuit. She can call it. She has a personal injury attorney ready to go at any time. Now that's it. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I actually heard her say in a video, she's like, call the cops, and you're either going to hit me and I'm going to get paid, or the cops are going to come and they're going to arrest you, and I'm okay with that too. It's like, oh, so you don't care what happens. You're not. It's not about educating anyone. It's just about getting the reaction that you want. It's like,
so don't you think if you were to make the point at that point in time, to have complete control of any situation, all of a sudden you take that situation and stop it. You have the power to stop it, demonstrate to your audience, but she doesn't. She lets it go until they cross the line.
Oh, that's what a lot of her.
That's her decision to do that. That's what I'm meaning. Yeah. She chooses to take it that far. The other person doesn't know what's up her sleeve. They're just they've been baited into a situation. They're to where they're gonna cross that line potentially. She has control of it.
Yeah, she's very much in control. Yeah, at that point. Yeah. Yeah, it's just true.
That's a significant disadvantage.
You know what? I think that Furry could benefit from another auditor, and I know there's a lot of them in California, to kind of go approach her and speak to her and say, hey, furry, let's go in this direction, because you know what, to my knowledge, those religious centers are not public, so therefore that's not really auditing.
Well, what religious center is public?
Right.
These are private places of worship. They should be out of bounds, but
yeah, we should go back to auditing like public places, because auditing is relevant, and there's some of them that do a decent job, and of course there's some that don't, but some of them do.
Well, just to end on a nice note for furry, I did like the one. She goes into places and doesn't say a word. She goes in and out, and it's boring as heck, but it's funny just to see her maintain absolute radio silence. She doesn't talk, and she audits and stands out of the way and then gets out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no money in that, obviously.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that was this has been really fun. All right, let's see. What about other auditors that you guys think it's gonna be affected by this? We talked about furry. I personally think, as we talked about a little about this earlier, I think Eric Brandt's gonna be affected at some point. If Ian McGuire ever gets out and comes back, he's gonna have a huge surprise when he comes back. Who else do you guys think is going to be affected by this whole harassment policy change?
I think anyone who is creating content that's triggering others in any way is open to some sort of harassment clause and having it affect them. The triggering content creators.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of people are saying SVG, and yeah, I totally agree that he's definitely going to have an issue with this whole thing. Yeah, he gets pretty animated.
Well, especially a lot of the delivery drivers that you'll notice, people say something to them, loading the trucks and shit like that. Good point.
Yeah. So glad it's wonderful. I think they're talking about a video. And did you hear about we were talking about earlier, the whole Eric Brandt situation where he had he had the gun pulled on him, or the cops pulled him over, and he almost got shot. I still haven't seen the video, but Social Relevant was bringing that up, and somebody came on and we all discussed it for a little bit. Just want to know if you heard anything about it, A-Balance.
A-Balance. Wake up.
The mic's on mute.
Oh, okay.
Might not
all
be
right,
there.
well, is there any questions while we're waiting? Is there any questions from the audience that anyone would like to know? Since we had you, go ahead and check out Joe's channel. Go ahead and check out Socially Relevant's channel. They both have great content, and I think you guys will all be impressed by their stuff. Socially Relevant is new. She just has like a few videos out, but they're interesting, and they have a lot in them. So check them out.
Hey, A-Balance back, y'all. Look at him. Did you ask him a question, Kenny?
Yeah, Kenny, you asked me a question. You caught me. I was away from the mic.
Yeah, it was about the whole Eric Brandt situation where he got arrested. And I guess the cops went pretty far, pulled a gun on him for, what was it? What was the Social Relevant? It was, what did he get pulled over?
From what I saw, so it was two separate videos. One was James Freeman, and the video says it was out of Louisiana. So he was camping at a federal property in Louisiana, and it was him and his entire family, his wife and his children, and him and the RV. And one of the federal park rangers went up to him, and he's like, you can't camp in this particular area. And James says, well, I didn't know that you can't camp here. He goes, we'll simply move. And the federal park ranger got mad because he's filming, so he called the local police, and that's where things got ugly. And in my opinion, that police officer was on the verge of, in my opinion, it was on the verge. It could have either gone right or left, and James could have ended up getting shot. That's what I saw. Then somebody else jumped on here, and they were like, no, the cop didn't have the gun out of the holster, and that's his comment. But like from what I saw, it could have gone in that direction.
Is Eric Brandt? When was this video taken?
I watched it today, so like I think it's very recent from James Freeman.
Well, where the hell was James Freeman camping in Louisiana? You said.
Yeah.
Well, where? How the fuck did Eric get to Louisiana under my nose?
Eric wasn't there, and the Eric part of the story is that when all this was popping off, James said on the live stream, everybody call, because James was afraid for his life.
Oh, well, so Eric did one of his call
Right, I mean,
flights.
he called the Louisiana sheriff, and somebody said Eric said that James has a gun, so be careful. I'm not saying
Eric will be totally pissed off that you just told me this right now, because I'll have to do a video on this now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really? I missed a little bit.
Yeah,
I heard this. I heard about it. I'm gonna have to duck, but I am intrigued now. I'm gonna have to follow up with this. But Eric Brandt calling on somebody's behalf probably isn't the best thing to do in the world.
Could you imagine?
Oh, he was spanking his phone. He's spanking. Oh yeah, I know what he's all about. I love it. I do like Eric Brandt, to be quite honest with you. I just like the whole part of the reason that I'm here is to, I started doing this to kind of influence him to better himself, because a lot of his tactics were pissing me off, namely defense and the way that they treat people and the screaming, and just because it's your right to say fuck the police doesn't mean you should type of thing. And I'm totally against that. He's fucking absurd, and I'll go to my coffin, my deathbed with that. I mean,
so who's this Defend guy? I hear you talk about Defend a lot in Balance, and I've never seen this guy's channel. What is his channel's name so I can check this guy out?
Well, it's Defend. He's taken all his content down because I'm effective. He does all his appearances in Eric's. You'll see him in Eric's and Monkeys now, but sometimes he goes live.
He goes live
afterwards. As soon as, like, he's a homeless activist, and he's walked around. Well, he's walked around for quite some time doing these ADA compliancy checks, but they turn into a shit show because at the end of the day, he's a fucking liar. He's not disabled. Well, he might be disabled, but how he does his auditing around with Eric, he's picked up on this fuck the cops thing, and he's in everybody's faces inappropriately, constantly. He lives out of his van, which I guess is fine. I don't want to discriminate against that, but please go check out some of my content to pick up on it. Where do you start with the guy? My problem with him is that he's an extremist. He's a hang-around trying to fit in with Eric Brandt's styles. Eric Brandt can go around and do whatever he wants. He can say fuck the police if he wants, but he's advocating for the random killings of police and judges. And, depending on the day, he either says it's just a line, or some days he retracts that. If it is just a line, and I believe it is because it's just irrational, if it is just a line at the end of the day, and it is, he needs to change that and take his activism to the next level. Get away from this fucking cockamamie obscenity fest and move it to the next level. If these guys are activists for the fucking homeless, how come most of them are homeless? Like, the whole point to dealing with the homeless are to try to help them better themselves and to try to get them into wanting better for themselves in life.
Can I say something about that?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you think A Balance was the one saying this? So I'm kind of asking. Well, I'm asking everybody, but do you think with what you just said that Otto, Otto has a point about CPS, and in my opinion, I think the point he has about CPS is valid. Like, what?
No. Okay. And I hate to stomp all over you, but I know where you're going to go with this. And man, I was there as well. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to stomp it all over you, and I just did. Otto brought all this on himself. Okay. I have been an apologist a little bit. I've looked within myself. I just can't find it. Otto has brought this on himself. Okay. When it comes to homeschooling children and just changing the terminology of your life situation to fit the circumstance to fight off CPS. Yes, you don't want to get into a position to have CPS do something wrong in your situation. Best not to have them in your life at all. He has to understand that. Okay, he has to understand and want more, not just find reasons for CPS to come knocking. He broadcasts all his activism online and includes his children in with that, which is inappropriate. But the fact that he's blasting it across the internet is a real problem. And that leads to people that leads to questions, of course, and they're going to come knocking. It's just a matter of time. Did Otto do anything? We all know Otto from his YouTube, and we know Otto is a well-intentioned individual, but he has to know, and he has to find within himself the best foot forward. Not come to YouTube to rely on donations, and this time's going to be better, and then the next breath go in front of the judge and give him a fucking finger to wind up 30 days in the hole. Stuff like that.
I think that, okay, I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
My opinion on Otto and Eric is that they're with what they have done so far, I think some of it has been good. That's just what I think. I'm not saying that I agree with every single thing. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't really speak in those terms. But I'm saying that I think some of it has been good about bringing some people to look at the ideas, at the points about free speech. That's what I'm looking at it in a really big way, rather than looking at one thing they did or whatever. But I think that they've done some good, and for me, the characters, both of them, I actually like them because as far as being an American and everybody having different personalities, I would never want to see the day where everybody was exactly the same. I like them,
Oh, I like them as well. But I won't put a butt on the end of that. I apologize. I like them as well. Seriously, Robin.
Okay, great. All right, so somebody wanted us to talk about CCW. I've seen some of CCW's videos. I don't mind CCW stuff. I've only seen a handful of videos, so I haven't really seen anything. I saw him go to a fire station, and they wouldn't really talk to him. I think he got upset because they wouldn't let him go in and film the truck or something. He got upset, and they let these pretty young. Oh, I guess if I was a pretty young girl, I'd be able to, and all this stuff. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot of interaction with him. What about you guys?
Well, CCW, California Citizens Watch.
Yeah.
When it comes to, I think when it comes to watching YouTube and the quintessential cop watcher, you can't take anything away from CCW. That guy goes. CCW just needs to. I don't know what to say. Does he go too far? Oh, fuck yeah! But that's part of the fun with him. I mean, he's his own man. He makes his own choices. He has great content, and it's always exciting for me anyway. That's my opinion, of course. I mean, he's not doing anything wrong, except that he doesn't. He's had to learn how to deal with his trolls, and he's got some situations now. The camera's not always on. I have seen CCW in some situations where he's stepped at a young teenager, probably 13, 14. There's been many occasions where he's gone off on kids that are trolling him in real time. It is what it is. But he is in a position to, I don't know if he has that much restraint is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
One of these days he's probably in a good position to go too far and end up in trouble. Thank God Catil is there with him. But, there is content up there that you'll find under him where they actually do work pretty nice together. Him and Catilla. It's like good cop, bad cop type of thing.
Okay. All right. Joe Kaiser, your opinion?
Yeah. I don't know. He's another one I really don't watch too much anymore. I've seen him. I I've seen the feud he's had with the neighbor, F off.
Yeah, Randy Carlson.
Yeah,
Productions. Yeah.
I mean, that's about as much as I know. Honestly, I really don't have.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about him either. Socially relevant.
I honestly really just don't watch the content unless, I mean, he's one, unless I see like another channel like A Balance or something talk about him. I really wouldn't know much.
Gotcha.
Not currently, you know what I mean?
Well, someone asked me to do some stuff on it, so I was looking at some of the stuff, and I was just like, well, I don't know if I really want to go. I mean, it just wasn't a whole lot to what he does. At least some videos I saw.
He's starting to, sorry to interrupt, he's starting to become a little bit more at ease around the police, but so much so where he actually, you can see it through his perspective on his camera. He'll walk into a situation and start talking on a first name basis with the people who are, the detectives there at a scene of a crime, or, oh, that's the broad. And he's talking about their work schedules and what they're up to next. And like, he's actually placing himself forcibly in their kind of, work days. He's a volunteer of sorts. That's how he sees it. And so he's interesting to watch anyway.
Socially relevant. Do you know anything about California Citizen Watch?
I really don't.
Okay, so you're kind of new to this whole auditing.
No, I'm not new at all. I've been watching for around 3 years.
So who do you like then?
I like James Freeman. I like I know that Auditing America has a lot of controversy, and I'm not here to talk about the controversy, but I will say one thing positive about him is that, like, I love that area of the country because I used to live up there in the north, and like he's done a lot of videos, Rhode Island and then beyond and everything. So I loved watching the footage because I can't actually travel up there. I'm in South Florida, so like, but I loved watching the footage, and I think when he first started, I think that like what attracted me to watch his channel was it looked like he had a good heart. It looked like he was doing it for the right reasons. And that's all I'm going to say on him. But like everybody else, I know a lot of them out of California. I know a lot of them that are in the North. I know like Mass Accountability. I think he's a decent person. And I know about Josh. I heard about the latest charges from Josh, and man, that's horrific. So truly, I'm not going to say anything positive about Josh. The only thing I will say is that I hope that he changes as a person, because that's not okay what he tried to do to Danielle. And as far as the latest information on Danielle, I've been following that for quite a while. And some of my most recent thoughts about that situation is, you know what? I feel so much for that little boy. I'm so sorry that he doesn't have a mother who is making an effort to be there for him as a mother. So
agreed. You actually got a friend request on Facebook from their, I guess he's been referred to as the Uber driver, Lynn Boo or whatever his name is. Actually, a friend request on Facebook. I'm like, what? Oh, okay. I'm just like, I thought that was interesting. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So that was interesting about just, yeah, the whole Danielle situation is just, it's, you can tell she's just going down the wrong path.
Right.
She's going down the wrong path. And she had a chance to fix it, and she seems to be going down another path that is going in the same direction as, maybe even in a worse place, because I think maybe with Billy, there might be, there's more exposure element than there was with Josh. And that's saying something, that Josh was a better influence to her. At least I think so.
Yeah, but in the end, he turned out that he tried to rape her, though, Kenny.
Oh yeah, Billy was. I mean, no, Billy. I'm sorry. Josh was horrible. Yeah, Josh he's a horrible human being. There's no. Yeah, I'm never gonna change my mind. I mean, he could earn my respect maybe if he came out and was like, I messed up, I was wrong, I'm not gonna do anything like that again. He's real truthful about it, but knowing Josh, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Well, I hate to be an apologist for Josh in this situation, but that's how easy it can happen. Stay away from drugs, kids. You're all fucked up in a hotel room one night, and you're with your girlfriend. Like you never think that your girlfriend would ever turn on you and say that you raped her. How does that happen? Well, you forced yourself upon her, bro. You made that decision while you were both inebriated, like 3 sheets to the wind on 512 or whatever, or Johnny's. And I'm not to joke about the situation, but she got triggered real quick. I mean, and that's what happened. I mean, she's selling her body. She's feeling dirty. She was pushed over the edge. You took it too far. You think she's that girl that you could do that to? I mean, what kind of situation was really going on there? It brings up a lot of questions. So
one thing I will say about him, at least in the video and the way, if it is his cousin that's speaking for him, he's not trying to make any excuses for himself. He says he made mistakes, which obviously he did. He's not bad-mouthing, which you would think he would come out and say, "Oh, she made mistakes?" No. He's so it'll be interesting to see if he'll actually give even a smidgen what really happened instead of his normal just bullshit that he would normally come out with, because he does seem like he does care about her still. Maybe he does have some guilt.
Can I say something, Kenny? Listen, sure. I'm educated in psychology. I just wanted to say this. Be careful with that heart that you have. You obviously have a real good heart, but be careful, because there is something called a sociopath. Okay?
Yeah.
And I watched him on an interview with Bristol, Turtle Chick, and he looks like a sociopath, because what happens is that he got on there with her, and immediately, because she's the one in power, he warms up to her. And he's like, "Really, Bristol?" So be careful, because, man, he's a sick person. And listen, I'm so sorry to hear what he did to her, because it doesn't matter what kind of person she is and all that, her background. Nobody deserves that, especially somebody she had trust with, which was her boyfriend.
Absolutely.
Well, not just that, but I think that the situation that they were in, that is a risk. That's a definite possibility that can happen. So don't think that she's totally in the right, but I'm not, she is there to, by choice, you know what I mean? To a certain extent. Now, after a while, that might change, but her choice is broader to that situation as well.
And then another thing, the other one she got with after that, Billy Baggs. Billy Baggs is known that he smokes crack cocaine, because there was a video showing.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So she's wrong to use that time after she left Josh. What she should have done was come away and spend some time with herself. I don't know if she's technically homeless. But what I'm saying is that she needs to work on getting her child back. What kind of mother, you don't even care about, you're not having time with your child?
Well, to Danielle, being with Billy Baggs is a huge improvement, because at least she's around some sort of wealth. And like it or not, Billy Baggs isn't a total fraud. Billy Baggs is just not Snoop Dogg like he likes to play himself out to be. I mean, I like Billy Baggs has some talent. He doesn't, but he's also, but the problem is that he's method at rapping. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not in that type of lifestyle that's going to be conducive to raising children.
She has a problem with drugs, and she needs to stay away from people who are doing drugs.
He has absolutely zero talent, and he's a crackhead.
Thank you.
That's my opinion.
No talent. I tried to listen.
He likes to think he has talent.
Couldn't do it. Just horrible.
Well, he likes to tell you he has talent.
He likes to think he has, but oh my God. I feel ashamed to even like the hip hop community with him in it. He just makes it a worse place.
He's got to try to piggyback off of somebody. He sees Danielle as an opportunity. Danielle sees him as an opportunity.
Mutually beneficial.
Yep, absolutely.
And unfortunately, in their situation, opportunity means, like sexual favors and drug money and setting up shit like that. And that's what is success to them. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, they don't value knowledge or an education, believe me.
Absolutely. That's why they're doing great.
In their minds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they got their 512s, their pill bottles are full, and they've got a little bit of champagne.
Can I say something else? A point that came up here is that, like, I watch actually a lot of audits, and so somebody said recently that they were basically saying that they're against CPS being in existence. And I just wanted to say this whole case about Danielle, let's not be against CPS being in existence, because truly there are some children in a situation in their home where it's not good for them to be in that home. So, and I know that CPS is a big topic. Like there's some people that say, oh, they go too far. And that I'm sure that they do in some cases. But as far as it being in existence, I think that's a good thing. And I'm sorry that that's the way it is in America today, but that's what I think about that.
Anytime that you're in a situation where you have to take a child and separate and break up families,
Right.
you're never going to be, it's unfortunately a necessary institution to have. And
Yeah.
they're always going to be in contention, and there's always going to be problems in new scenarios, or well, they're all similar scenarios. They come about from the same way. But I mean, yes, it's a necessary institution. It's best to avoid it. And that's what good parenting brings. Like your parents raise us to be, to have empathy and sympathy, and to take others' feelings into consideration, respect rights of others, and things like this. That happens over time, but people go south.
The last we heard about, because we heard that it jumped from the rape allegations on Josh, and then he went to jail. It jumped from that to like a few weeks later that she was with Billy Baggs. And my question is she still technically homeless? Because she should have been working on that instead of hooking up with a crackhead.
I think she's actually probably living with Billy Baggs at this point. So technically, I was now. Yeah, well, she's in jail now, but before her arrest, she was probably cohabitating with Mr.
Yeah, I would bet on that.
She used to have a place of her own. Do you guys remember that?
She did. Yeah, when she was first with Josh.
Back in September. That's not too long ago. That was back in September.
We should try to do that again. I don't know. Maybe far down the path of drugs, maybe.
But she lost everything in that place. The sheriffs had to lock her out, and she lost everything. It went into storage, and that was it.
Yeah, do you remember their neighbor that they harassed outside? Josh harassed the neighbor.
Yeah, I talked to that. I talked to that neighbor actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he have to say about that incident?
Hey, Teresa R., how's it going?
He had a lot to say.
Hi, Teresa.
It was more his wife that was involved with it, but he already knew who Josh was. They already knew who Josh was. They didn't know who Danielle was, but they knew who Josh was from watching YouTube. And then one day they saw him around, and they put 2 and 2 together. It was like, oh, okay, that's the Danielle chick he just met, and all right, and it just snowballed from there into a bad situation,
Oh, fuck.
That was a whole when he went out there and was doing that to the neighbor.
And the wife, he didn't show up to like the court dates. Well, he was in jail the one time, then he got out and he didn't show up, and then I guess they gave him a chance and they rescheduled, and she pushed that. She pushed to have that final restraining order on him, which is that was a lot for her to go through all that, to take off work every single time. So she was pretty adamant about it,
Yeah. Well, she saw it.
I'm definitely glad you got that.
And he tried to file one on her, and the judge threw that out. But he did try to file one on her.
Josh?
Yeah. Yep.
Try to file a restraining order on Danielle.
On Danielle's neighbor.
Oh, okay. What? Okay, whatever. Anyway, that's just Josh being petty, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
So this has been a great power. But before we go, I have an announcement. Actually, I'm going to be having an interview coming up. Unfortunately, it's not going to be with any of the people that I was originally. RB Texas, of course, as you guys heard, backed out. Extra Good Citizen. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I have with Nathaniel, and he's willing to have an interview. He wanted to do it before the panel, but I didn't get the message, the email, until I'd already started the panel, so I wasn't able to. In the next week or two, and I wanted to see if the panel had any questions they would like me to ask Nancy Nathaniel, since you guys are all here.
I don't know him so well, so.
I would have to bring up See, Nasty Nathaniel has a little bit of a niche and a hard on against the Church of Scientology. I happen to know quite a bit about the history of Scientology, and I would ask Nasty something to do with maybe educating his viewers a little bit more as to the history before he goes in for the jugular on Scientology, because he's missing a lot, just to go and shit on Scientology. And they are what they are. But he could put a nice little opening to a nice little presentation to kind of give his viewers a little bit more info on why he's going after them. And he would probably have well, I won't say it, but I like Nasty.
I agree too. I think he's great. And I actually have a problem with Scientology too. They have a history of taking away people's rights. And
absolutely.
And all that stuff. They're definitely a cult, and they should definitely be called out for it.
Well, they're called for tax reasons, but what they're all attached to, it's. I guess I could do my own video on it, but.
Oh, I actually heard him tell the story about when he had the camera in jail overnight. I don't know if everybody's heard that, but that would be something cool to talk to him about.
But he had a camera in jail overnight?
Yeah.
No.
Right. Camera in jail.
And I'll see if he'll do it live.
Ask him about it.
I don't know if he will do it live or not, but I'll try and get him to do it live. If not, it'll be pre-recorded. I try to give people that have an interview that option, just to be nice about it. But yeah, Social Relevant, you should check out some of his videos, and then you can come up with some questions if you want any. Same to everybody else if you guys have. And also, if you guys know any auditors, why don't you do an interview with Kenny or whatever, That would be nice if you guys would do that too, because they don't see that much, fortunately. I think they think I'm going to attack them, but I'm not.
Well, Kenny, I think a good opportunity would probably be Tommy from Mass Accountability. He has endless insight and great stories about Anselmo and Josh and that whole situation. And he's kind of flipped sides, and he's been through a transition. He would be a great auditor because he's got lots of track record. He's been around for 10 plus years. I'll hit you up. I'll send you the link on Discord after the show and follow up with him, because he loves to talk, and he's an entertaining, and he's a nice guy, and people like him.
Yeah. He subscribed to me. Like, he was one of probably my first 20 or 30 subscribers, which was really cool. I had 2 auditors within the first 20 or 30 subscribers, which was interesting. I was like, oh, that's cool.
But just to let you know, he's a lot more informative than you think he is, because he pays attention, and he always shoots me little old videos that I probably would never have normally seen, and I appreciate that. But that tells me that he has a lot more insight than I would have probably guessed.
Okay, cool. And Peachy, if you're still in, I'd like to get an interview with you as well, if you would like to. We can do it live or pre-recorded. Joe, I'm still looking for a one-on-one with you. Hey, Balance, if you're down, I'd like to do a one-on-one with you as well.
Oh, yeah, man. We could sit together and shit talk a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, and Social Relevant, of course, we're going to do some collabs.
But it's okay, because we apologize for it at the end. Oh, fuck.
And we started with, preface it with all due respect. And it's all okay after that,
Oh, yeah.
You say with all due respect at the beginning, and then you apologize at the end, and all's forgiven, right?
Well,
I got to give Kenny mad props, because he's been trying to get Patrick to come over here, and man, that's going to be a challenge.
No, it's easy.
Yeah.
Kenny, just change your name in Discord and hide in one of the chats for a while, and he'll pop up. You'll get your.
Oh, I'm in his Discord. I'm in the Patrick's Discord, and he hasn't posted in it for but people are giving him. People just going to Discord.
He hardly posted it.
Funny to see.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
I don't dislike Patrick at all. I just dislike everything that he's done, but he's still 21. We have to influence him in the right direction. Being in this position, or having a shit talk show, at face value, you think that it's just me shit talking them, but I do actually wish them I don't want them off YouTube is what I'm trying to say.
Oh no, I totally agree. And the thing with Patrick is, I honestly think Patrick would be interesting to go have a beer with, because I think once he got drunk, he would just be.
I heard
it'd be
he talks
interesting to see what he talks about.
Well, he's got all kinds of funny little stories in the background that people tell that feeds some of the Patrick growth hype, and Patrick just loves that sort of attention because it's new to him and he's young, he's a kid. There's a certain element of narcissism to it, but it's healthy.
Yeah, totally. All right, guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun. This is a really long. I don't know. What's it been, like 2 or 3 hours, something like that. Sorry for everyone.
3 hours
Or something like that. Started at 1.
That's it.
Started at 1.
Holy
Well, Bristol and Turtle Boy Sports will be coming up in about.
Yeah, I want to get off before they get started, so that way everyone can move over. Yeah.
Tell them Kenny Klein TV sent you.
And make sure you guys subscribe to everyone on the panel. Myself, Joe, A Balance, Socially Relevant. Socially Relevant, did you want to give like just a little rundown of your content so far and what you plan on doing in the future, so everyone can kind of get a basic gist of it?
The interesting thing about my content so far is that my first video, I introduced myself as, because in real life and my job, I'm a therapist and a counselor, which really has to do with helping people and trying to help people and things like that. But that's how my first video was. And then from there, because one of my passions is like the Constitution and what's going on in America politically and things that are related with people that are like basically socially relevant to people, and like politics is one of them, but there's a lot of other things too, and like auditing is one of them. So I have all of these like side interests and everything, so that's why I started the YouTube. So it's kind of been going more in that direction, of being a person who is kind of like quote unquote woke, and I know a lot of people know that word, and just aware of a lot of things that are going on. And it's been an honor being here with all of you. Nice to meet you.
Did you just call yourself woke, socially relevant?
Yes.
Fuck, that's the second time in an hour I've heard that. Will Turbot just admitted on radio. He just put up a video about he just had an interview with a hip hop radio station, and it was quite progressive. And he said that hip hop music is what woke him as well. So
very cool.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, I thought that was fucking cheesy as shit.
Oh, well,
whatever.
You guys, I don't hate Will Turbot. Like the thing is that like for me,
just stick around.
Yeah, I mean, I look at people and I try to find some good in them. So I mean, like, you know what? Will is also young, so maybe he can like polish up in certain areas, but he's not horrible, Yep.
Well, he's in the right place to get some help.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
God, between Will and Billy Bags, I'm gonna have to start listening to country music more.
Jesus Christ! It's never a dull moment in American politics.
Jeez, wow, just like goodness. All right. Well, yeah, let's keep in touch, guys. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do another panel. Have to figure out. Probably not till after the holiday. Probably gonna take a couple days off next around Christmas time, spend time with family. But I'll definitely be around, probably in the comment section of most of my videos. You can also join the Discord. I'm in A Balance's Discord as well. I'm in quite a few Discords, so you'll see me there around. And just everybody, thanks for showing up. And happy Bill of Rights Day, everyone. And before we go, has anybody else said anything about the Bill of Rights Day besides me? Has anyone seen anything?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
I saw Trump talk about
besides Trump, yeah.
Nothing.
No, like
I don't.
they're supposed to be First Amendment writer. I mean, they're supposed to be. Nope. We love the Constitution, really. Then why aren't you mentioning this historic day? Another thing, I kind of got pissed off that more people know about St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day than the National Bill of Rights Day. How ass backwards is that?
Yeah.
Well, on paper it is, but in reality,
they're
more interested in getting laid than they are checking if their rights are being tromped on.
That's true, though.
They leave that to the First Amendment auditors. That's what they're supposed to be there for.
There we go.
I'm trying to give them a bone there.
There you go. You guys, all if you're an auditor and A Balance just give you a bone, you might not ever from him. So take it while you can, enjoy it, and just live it up. All right, guys. So this is fun, and see you guys next time. And Bounce, thank you. Joe Kaiser, thank you. Socially relevant,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, peace, guys.
See us. Woohoo.